Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the FearFishing Web Cast live on YouTube. First, before we get started, let's talk about the RLM Elite boxes. Big sponsor of the show, Mark.
Absolutely.
The box with the most hard baits. I think they have a couple ice fishing boxes left, but I can't be certain. Ours got stuck in Canada Post.
Yeah.
We were
Thanks a lot, Canada Post.
Yeah, I was
Don't
excited
hire more
about
people.
opening it tonight. The big news, though. You
That
can
is the big
save
news.
$10 on your first box using discount code FearFishing. It's super exciting to get them in the mail. We really enjoy opening them on the show.
They are cool, eh?
They are pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas all year round when you got
It's exactly like
RLM
Christmas.
subscription box.
Even better because you know what stuff you're going to use.
Fishing stuff. Silent, awkward pause.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Everybody's look on everybody's face. Like, what's he going to do next? Pretty exciting. Mr. Bracken, let's get this show started.
That'll never get old.
Call Mercer Marine.
That is my favorite part of the opening. Call Mercer Marine. He must get so pumped at home to see that. I do get messages all the time, and I have to admit to them that it's not a real thing. And but you can call Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
He
should
will
call
help
Andrew.
you.
Find him on Facebook. Find him on. He has Instagram. He will probably not fix your boat, but I would harass him anyway.
He just likes to talk to people.
He does like to hang
Yeah.
out with people. They have. We're going to actually talk about a topic that they have at the Mercer House today. We were watching the outdoor kitchen.
Yep.
Andrew's dad, Bob, has the most beautiful outdoor kitchen. You can watch the hockey game, the baseball game from the couch, and then go over, and it's like a full-out kitchen on the side.
He's got
We'll
the
get- we're
couch
gonna-
outside, too, and a TV outside.
Yeah, but it's got like an overhang, and they close it in for the winter. But in the summer, you can watch
Yeah.
like the ball game, and it's really, really cool.
Sweet.
Introduce yourself. Oh, I guess I should start. Since we're fresh to YouTube, people out there
Yeah.
tuning in maybe not know me. Ian West. I do a little fishing. I sit in trees from October to the end of December. Not a lot of action goes on that time of year, but
Nope.
I go a lot, and I enjoy going. Mark, introduce yourself.
Mark Hunter from Bowmanville. I do a little fishing, a little hunting,
Yes.
a little walks through the woods.
Walk through the way. We're gonna talk about that tonight. I've done
Yeah.
more walking this fall
Yeah,
than I ever have in my
God.
life, like scouting. Across the horn, Sam.
Yeah,
What's up, man?
nothing, man.
How are you?
Not too bad.
You are a public land bow hunter.
I am.
Yes.
Coming out of Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
That's where you're born and bred. Like
Born
that's
and bred for the last 25 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
The
25? Okay, that answers my question because you're drinking a beer and I didn't ask for
Yeah.
ID.
Wow.
And I'm kind of like the father figure around here, so I got to make sure there's
I'm
no
checking
rules
IDs.
getting
This is
broke.
my second year in Ontario now as well. So,
Second year in Ontario.
Second
We
year.
met last fall
man, yeah, you were
at my tree stand.
Yeah.
Really,
I
huh?
was baiting. I was just going in
Poacher.
bait-
Is he? You're calling him a
No,
poacher?
he was just walking through. He was walking through, and and you were gun hunting.
I was.
I had my orange on baiting, and I seen like the pylon going through the woods, and I thought I'd better say something before I get shot here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's how we met, and I let you use my tree stand for the rest of
You were
the gun hunt.
Yeah. Messiah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you hooked me up. You gave me a spot to sit. You know, I was pretty new to this Ontario thing. Just
So
doing my,
we're gonna get into
How'd
that.
that
deeper.
work out for you?
still a work in progress. man.
Amber,
Yes.
how are you?
Sick.
Yes, you have been sick the last few weeks. It seems like forever that you've been sick.
It's
Let
only
it
been
go.
A week.
Last week you spent like the entire week in bed, other than at work, hurting. But you're back.
I am.
You're feeling a little
because
better.
You nursed me back.
I did. I did
What
a lot
exactly
last
did
week.
he do to nurse you
I
back?
everything.
I want to
Made
hear
me
this.
Food.
I
He
made her
did the
food.
dishes,
Like I did all the
did
dishes.
all
I
the
drove the kids
cooking.
everywhere. She
Really,
basically
eh?
came home from work and got into
I
bed,
went
and
to
I
work
got
and
her
came
all
home.
done.
I can
Wow.
definitely second that.
Yeah.
It was rough. Yeah, I brought
Did
teas
you
to
hate
work.
it?
I brought
Yeah.
teas to work.
Really?
I was this close from sending our kids to China. Do you know, like, we got to get deeper, but kids, teenagers and 7-year-olds don't see adults as sick as, like, reality.
Emma does not.
Don't care at
No.
all.
At all.
Yeah.
Like, not
She
even
was
a little. There's no
Done
sympathy.
with me being sick.
She was
Yeah.
done with
Because
not
I'm
even kidding
lazy.
you.
Not even kidding you. She would come into the kitchen and I would be like, Emma, can you do the dishes? Right? And she
You
would
just
be-
told me you did the dishes.
Well, I
You
did.
told
but,
the world
but
you did
some
the
nights,
dishes.
some nights, I would, like, last resort, trying to get Ashton into bed, be like, Emma, can you just do the dishes? And she'd be like, really? She can't even get out of bed to do this? And I'd be like, are you kidding me? I'd
Yeah.
like, yeah. No
Well,
understanding.
You know what? Remember that the next time she's sick.
Oh, she
No.
was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sick. And
yeah.
she spent 2 days home from school, and I nursed her on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. And when she's sick, like, she's dying.
Yeah.
Like me.
Like, it's over.
She's got a man cold.
Like,
The world's coming to an end when I'm
I
sick.
even, like, she's
I'm
such
like bad man
so good
sick.
at acting
I'm
that
really
I
good
would
at
bring
it.
her, like, orange juice and stuff because I felt so bad.
Yeah, even Ian nursed her back to health.
And then I would hear,
Wow.
like...
You were sick of her shit.
Like, yeah. And then, like, her mom's in bed sick, and she's got, like, the teen beats just pounding in the house. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Teen beats.
it's interesting. Behind the horn tonight. Happy birthday, Brian.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
happy
day.
birthday,
Happy
Brian.
birthday,
Happy birthday.
Brian.
Huge day.
Wow.
Not many guys who'd show up to this on their birthday.
Yeah. You got no
Sucker.
social life.
Exciting day, you know.
I would have
Really?
bailed. If it was my birthday, I'd have bailed. I'd
I
been
knew-
like, good luck, guys.
I knew
Yeah.
how much I meant to you.
Yay.
It does mean a
The
lot.
show
to us.
sounds amazing.
It does, yeah.
It does.
It pops.
Yeah.
It's got a
Yeah.
pop to
It's
it.
clear.
Warm.
It is. It's
not
beautiful.
distorted.
You gonna tell us how old you are, Brian?
52.
Wow.
Nice.
You
You
are
look-
not.
You look good for 52.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Man.
You look good for 52.
38,
good.
not so much.
38.
Easy. No.
37.
37.
I'm
yeah.
36. 37.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, there's no
Yeah,
way
you'll be
you're
there soon.
52.
Yeah, unfortunately. Amy, welcome back.
Hi.
It's like 4 weeks in a row you made it.
I know, right?
You're doing good.
You got no social life either.
No.
She's here for the birthday.
She's been
She had-
painting.
You guys must be like
It's
a
my
working
birthday.
and
She had to come.
painting.
Anything exciting happen with you, Amy?
Not really. No.
Oh, what? You got the studio done.
I got
What?
the studio
Stu-
done.
Stu
He's moving
studio.
in right now.
What?
It's
You
so
married?
Stu
exciting.
Studio. Stu
Phil
Studio.
Collins in the house.
With a little.
I had to.
Jennifer.
I had to
She did.
slide that in.
I have to say, she did pretty much, well, almost paint the whole thing by yourself, almost for me. Yeah.
Really? Was
Yeah.
Brian sick?
Brian
I
did
was
have
for a while.
actually did have bronchitis. You
Yeah,
know, you know
he was.
that?
He was. Yeah, you had a rough show
Yeah.
last
few
time. You
in a
were.
row.
You were
I had-
hurting.
I think I did 4 shows with
Yeah,
bronchitis.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Our night, you were
Our
feeling
night,
good at
It
all.
was. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was like I was right at the very beginning of it. And oh man, that was rough.
Isn't
You're
it
a
crazy
champ,
how
though.
everybody gets sick? Like like in
Yes,
in
it's like
the
everybody poops.
Oh,
in
man.
like yeah in the fall though. In the fall though,
Everybody
everybody at some point you know somebody who is at home dying sick,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Like
damn,
there's just
man.
like the
Just
there's-
shut down.
yeah there's
You always
somebody.
run into somebody that they'll be talking about it. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm not feeling very great. I'm fighting
Yeah.
this, whatever." Or the wife's at home doing this, and first thing you know is like, "Oh yeah, this person's sick too."
The kids are the worst, hands down. Like we will all get like when they're at their other parents' house and you get a message and they're like, "Oh, I've been sick. The whole house is sick." It's like waiting
know
for
it's
it to come
coming.
into your house, right?
Yeah,
man.
It's like a tsunami warning,
Yeah,
right? Like you have 7 minutes to live.
It's like it's coming.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's totally so. And because they don't go to the same schools, like daycare's the worst. It's like they get every school, pick up every disease, and then they bring it to this one location, and they're all like, "Do you want a sip of my juice?"
Yeah, man.
Right? Is absolutely
Yeah.
the worst. Here we go.
Yay.
Happy birthday, Brian. Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Happy
birthday
to
you guys.
Happy birthday, dear Brian. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Hold that up. Show the camera that.
All right.
That's just not a normal cake.
Where's it
No.
coming
That's
from?
frosted flour
Yeah.
cone.
Yeah.
I tried
Yeah,
to get
it
them
is.
to
Alright.
make one and they couldn't do
Is
it
that
for me.
buttercream?
We got it done.
Oh my God!
It's like a sham of a cake.
jewels
Yeah.
on it.
Wow.
Somebody
Bedazzled.
bedazzled it.
Someone
Look at
did.
that.
It's bedazzled.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
gonna like pull that stuff off and make some necklaces.
No, you're not. You're gonna cut it up. And we're
You
gonna
could
eat it.
Oh, I gotta go get the stuff.
Amber.
No, we'll do it in the break.
No, we won't.
Ready?
Yeah, well,
All right,
we'll just
make
throw it
a
on the
wish.
table here and we'll break it.
He gets another wish.
You know what?
I don't want to wait.
You
for
could
the break.
save those and make a jumpsuit for performances.
All right.
37 is kind of when Elvis went a little wonky too. That's when he started jumpsuits and Las Vegas and Hawaii and yeah.
Crossroads.
Sparkles.
Do you know
Yeah.
what? Do you know what the beauty thing
Those-
about cake is? Birthday cake. It's the only thing in the world that you can light on fire. Then some guy or girl spit all over it. And you'll still say,
Yeah.
"Oh my God,
Still
I
down.
love it! Give me more."
I can
Got an ice
hoop
cream?
that in the middle.
Hey, do you guys got any ice cream? For
Don't
that?
put it too close to Amber. She hasn't been feeling very great.
I've been,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been
yeah.
not coughing on it at all.
I'd be more worried about that dash houndy.
Yeah. Well, bronchitis just
There
blew all
Yeah,
over
bronchitis just blew on it. That's a good looking cake.
it. That is a good.
It's like
looking
a
cake.
Christmas cake.
It's like a top hat.
How'd
cake.
you convince them to give you one?
They had them made.
Who?
Oh, you wanted a
where did this-
special
where'd
one.
this
No,
come
I
from?
just wanted them to make one, but they really didn't have time. They said that they had a lot of orders. They're an amazing bakery in Port Hope.
Yeah.
They're
This
Just
is
behind
from
the
the bakery.
salon.
So
Yeah,
is
this
ba-
is the
So
bakery where
good.
Emma works at.
So you're sitting bakery cake in front of me and I can't eat it.
No.
Yeah.
You're a dick.
We'll slice her up a break. That's mean, eh?
Yeah, you're a
That's
dick.
a good looking cake. What kind is
They're-
it in the middle?
I believe it's just vanilla. It was either that or the Grinch one, but I think the Grinch was. there was a
Next year we're
Grinch
doing
cake.
It was
Elvis
more
cake.
money and you weren't worth it.
No,
Yeah.
the Grinch one was like a
I'm
different
not-
flavor.
The
You
real story.
broke the budget,
I'm not-
Brian.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That's gas in the truck for a week. Right there.
That is a good looking cake. Everything's really good there. Saturday mornings they have donuts.
Oh,
Amber brings
donuts.
donuts, like
I've had
fresh
the
donuts home.
macaroons, man. Those macaroons.
Really?
are
What
bomb.
bakery is this?
Macarons.
So we're gonna take a short break now, right?
Sorry,
Frosty
macaron.
fillings.
Frosted flour. cone.
Frosted flour.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that's right behind Amber's salon.
to go,
So
but I didn't
again,
mean
if
to
you guys
check
want
it
to
out.
meet
Yeah.
So if you need a
Amy and
haircut-
Amber, check out the salon at Turner House. Get your hair cut. Get yourself a cake or a donut.
Some frosty fillings.
Brian will play a show if
Go-
you like. You have money.
And go grab yourself a tart,
Yeah.
and then check out the frosted flour after.
Yeah.
Oh, so-
I was gonna say, where's this going?
Where do you want to get started tonight, Mark Hunter? Or are we just
Um,
the big wheel?
Let's do some congratulations to some boys that went.
Congratulations to Dwayne and Mike Williams.
Yeah,
They finished 28th.
28th.
Dwayne
Yeah.
Jacobs. and
Dwayne
Mike Williams.
Jacobs, Mike Williams. What'd you say?
Dwayne and Mike Williams.
What?
Wow, they're
Dwayne
like a
is like
family.
Elvis.
Yeah.
You have to say Dwayne.
Yeah,
You
just Dwayne. Yeah.
The Dwayne.
He's like Cher.
Ashton used to tell me that his name was Ashton. No last name. No
Really?
middle name. I'm just Ashton.
Wow.
Yes.
I wonder where he gets that from.
I don't know. The Ian.
Hollywood.
Hollywood. I'm gonna get a Hollywood tattoo right here.
Are you?
Of the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Really?
I swear to God, I got to fill the rest of my sleeve in. We just
where's it
have it.
going?
And
'cause
that's
of
what you picked?
the blood thinners. Pardon?
Where's it going?
Right here, like the Hollywood sign, like the on the
Yeah.
On the rock.
on the rock.
Cool.
Forest fires in the background.
Oh, Jesus.
Too soon?
Boom. Too soon.
I don't think it's.
Nobody
even
from
over
California
yet.
is listening. It's good.
Yeah, I hope
The so and Dave Chong and who
not. Doug Brownridge.
Doug Brownridge.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
finished 23rd.
23rd. What a
Out of
great show on, eh?
197 teams, Bassmaster Team Championship. They all it's from everybody from North America who finished high in their divisions
Yeah,
of
yeah.
their local tournament.
America.
Yeah.
They went to Florida's Harris Chain.
Yeah, Dave Norgrove and Steve, for the life of me, I can't remember his last name. They also went down as well.
Yes, so we had
Yeah.
lots of Canadian
Yeah, 3
representation.
teams down there.
197 teams,
Yep.
and I mean to show up to Florida from Ontario and pre-fish for 3 or 4 days,
Yep.
and do that well. Congratulations, boys!
Yeah.
Way to
well
represent.
done, guys.
I believe
We're all proud of
Dave and Brownridge represented Renegade, and the rest of the crew was from the CSFL.
I believe so.
I'm right. Don't worry.
Okay.
That wasn't like a real
Are you
question.
sure?
That was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
that
I
was like
threw
a
that out there.
Rhetorical question. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys sat this cake in front of me and I
It's-
can't.
I know.
It's looking
I was gonna
good.
say, so we're gonna take a short break. Right
I
now?
was thinking about like
Yeah.
how mad would everybody
Break
be if
time.
I gave the candle like a. and then I was gonna go.
I'll
I
do
was
it.
just putting Brian's name in it.
You only live once.
I'm looking
Yeah.
around seeing what I can cut this cake with.
The
This,
what else has been going on? You know what?
All these hunters in
Do
the
you want
room.
to
We
get
don't
into
get a
that?
knife.
Do you want?
into this.
Do you want to talk about that? This just
Yeah.
came to the studio last week. It is the
Crossfire?
Daiwa ice fishing rod.
Yep.
I just got it. There's this spinning rod model and a bait casting model. But the cool thing about these is they're really designed for in Asia for fishing like ditches or like a culvert kind of deal. It's not like
in the
in like
manholes
the city.
and the sewer drain
there.
That's what this rod's designed for. Yeah, but it's going to be perfect for lake trout and whitefish. Lake trout, whitefish, big walleye. And
I think it's a good larger species rod.
Yeah. And the best price is it retails for $25 Canadian.
25. 3 feet.
Crazy,
Only
eh?
available in the one size, correct?
One
Which is 3
size.
feet.
They're I believe
One
they're
size
both
catches
the
all.
same medium action.
This is a medium fast.
They're there's just a bait casting version, so
Yeah.
you can use your Tatula 100 ice fishing. I'm going to use
Right
this
here.
one for smaller.
The Tula 100
Yeah, well, that's a 1,000.
or 1,000. Sorry.
I'm going to use this one for like small rattle baits, and then I'm going to use the bait casting version for
broke.
bigger rattle baits, lake trout fishing. Because I really like lake trout fishing. I like going lakers.
You know what? It is
Figuratively.
exciting. I can't wait to go.
I got another
Yeah.
surprise for you, Mark. This
Do
just
ya?
came into here too.
What?
Daiwa J-Braid Grand. That's the new Daiwa line that's coming
Samurai.
out. It's 4 times more abrasive resistant than normal braided line.
We really got to work on your big words.
I
man.
was practicing all day too.
Abrasive?
Oh, you ready?
Abrasion.
Aluminum.
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 Abrasion resistant.
Yes. So that's a little heavy. That's 65-pound
This
test,
is,
but that's
yeah.
going to be super great in the cane, where normal braid gets chewed up. It's going to hold up against rocks better. I'm going to use 10-pound Grand for ice fishing, so that when we get that 2 feet of ice, when it's coming up the hole and scraping, this
Yeah.
stuff is going to hold up a lot better than braids in the.
Let's
previous.
try it out. We'll do a test run.
We will do a test. They actually
Yeah.
have a test. I'll get Crothers
We'll
to
do our
the
own test.
on camera. Where do you want to get to? There's so much to talk about.
Oh, I didn't write down that.
Make sure you're talking to that microphone.
I didn't write down the blog that we were watching.
Oh, yes. Do you know the name of it? We're going to get into that.
Terrazzo,
I think that's early.
Off the grid or something like that.
Let's talk to young
Off the
Samuel.
grid?
Can I call you Samuel?
Yeah, of
I
course,
like
man.
that name.
That's my real name. So.
I like that. I'm a big
Sounds
fan
very
of
debonair.
Samuel. Wow. When we were having our son, that actually came up, the name Samuel.
Really?
His
Samuel the
so
chef.
Samuel got tossed out. So we kind of did.
How does that make
Good
you
choice.
feel? Yeah.
We kind of did like everybody throw some names out, and you get the power of veto till we're down to like that's it. Ashton's mom wanted Cruz, which I was like hard no.
Yeah.
Cruise. That's kind of cool. I like that.
I wanted to name him Plastic
Cruise West.
Look at-
Cruise West.
Cruise West.
That's awesome.
That's pretty legit.
I
yeah.
wanted to name him Plastico West, like after the football
He'll be
player
a
Plastico Burris.
snowboarding
Yeah.
pothead.
She was like, hard
Cruise
no.
West.
He'll never spell his name. And I was like, all right, you're probably true. And then we
Surprised
thought
you
we
could
were
say it.
having a girl, and we were going to name her Ashton. It's like A-S-T-E-N,
I-N?
E-N, right? I can't even spell my kid's name. I'm having a moment here. But it was a boy, so then we changed it to Ashton.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
Little flip on the
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see how it worked at that?
Yeah, wow.
There's nothing like
Wow.
There's nothing like having a baby there and arguing about what you're gonna name the thing,
Oh man.
right? And then
We
like in that look when your kid's mom goes, "We've had 9 months to discuss this, and we're doing this now." Sure.
Hey,
Quinn
man.
got named from off a sitcom. Not even a very good one either.
Which one?
Grace Under Fire.
No way.
Yeah,
That was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
it's all right.
I'm pretty sure she's cracked
Wasn't-
out now. Grace.
Quentin's doing good.
Quinn's good. I remember watching that show at like lunchtime. Samuel, you're a hunter.
Yeah, man.
You're a big advocate for public lands.
Well, I kind of have to be because
Same.
I don't have any money.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, when it comes to getting outside and trying to get a deer, like that's what I'm leaning into. I don't know anyone really around here, and
Landowners aren't very open
They're
around
not.
here about letting guys on.
they're not unless
Or-
you get the bank flow, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
that's-
Leasing land is something that has come up,
yeah.
And-
right?
You know, just from like a longevity sort of standpoint as well. Like, you know, it's not like the whole land ownership thing. It's great. You know, I think everyone should have the right to own land. But at the end of the day, that land can be sold to anyone at any time. It's not a surefire
Yes.
thing, right? It's not a place that anyone can go cut their teeth on. It's just
Back home for you,
Yeah.
you were telling me that if it's not posted, you can go on it.
That's true, man. Yeah, back in Nova Scotia, which I should add before I keep going. We actually have the least amount of crown land out of anywhere in Canada.
Really?
So I think
Really,
it's yeah. I'll throw some numbers out there, but it's I'm not 100% certain, but it's
That's all
somewhere
right.
It
between
doesn't matter here.
between yeah. So
We're
let's say
always- yeah.
Nova Scotia is between 38 and 45% crown land, which
Okay.
is significantly less than Ontario. I think it's like 89%.
Yeah, yeah,
or
it's
something
not
like
way
that.
more
But
than that even.
most of our crown
Yeah.
land is way up north.
And that's the thing, man.
It's
yeah.
not accessible
know,
to.
Nova Scotia is probably like one of the oldest provinces in Canada, so it's pretty densely populated.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
looking good for her
She's
age.
looking, yeah, man, she's right, yeah, fresh
So
faced.
if you
Still
pull up
firm.
on the side of the road
Yeah.
and you want to hunt this area, if
Yep.
it's not posted, you're cool to hunt it.
Essentially, yeah. So I mean, there's that doesn't go without exception. You're gonna bump into landowner signs and stuff like that, and a lot of people do post their land.
Yeah, yeah.
But for the most part, man, there's not many spots that you can't pull. Because Nova Scotia is basically it's a tree farm. The whole province is forested for the most
Yeah.
part. So, you guys are hunting cornfields and soy or beans
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
up
yeah.
here.
No,
We're
we're
hunting
hunting
clear
cattle.
cuts and choppings and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
back home. But the crown land's a lot more dispersed as well. So you're gonna get a lot more lots.
Gotcha.
Kind
So
of
how'd you do there for hunting?
good, man. It's
Yeah.
there's some big deer out there. The hunting's good. The access is good.
You have lots of bears.
Oh man, there's some serious bears out there. I don't have my phone on me right now. I could pull a couple trail cam pics up of some bears from back home. But
Let's go get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, lots of bears, but the deer hunting's great. It's awesome, man.
Now,
And
what
it's
about their essentially you can hunt, but if you go to property owners, are they open about letting hunters on?
a lot more, a lot warmer than I've found them to be here for the most part.
I
Have
feel
you gone knocking on doors? Have you tried it?
Mostly through work, to be honest. Like I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like I haven't really gone door to door, just
Yeah.
trying to knock them down. But I've
Hinted.
brushed shoulders with a lot of guys that are saying they might get me a lead on something, or they might let me come on X week or month or whatever, and then it just kind of usually falls through for the most
Yeah.
part.
It's
Yeah.
really tough here.
Yeah.
Not
It is,
only
yeah.
we got a lot of land. Like we talked about this on the last episode about the family farm is essentially gone from this area.
Yeah,
There's 4 or 5 families here
Yeah.
who own everything,
Yep.
right? So the whole going door to door, you pretty much have to go to
Yeah.
like 4 houses.
or they're either consolidating, or
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
going to ranchettes, like an 800-acre farms turning into 20, 40-acre lots or something
Yeah,
like that.
do you know what I mean? We were talking last time how there's hardly any cattle around.
Yeah.
Like there's not that family farm with 20 cows, doing it as a hobby. There's so many hunters too. Like we live, I don't think if you don't live here and you're listening from like the United States, between Montreal and Windsor is the most populated area in North America. Like there's a huge chunk of Ontario's 450,000 hunters
Yeah.
live here.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind too. I mean, you can't, you have to take that into consideration when we're kind of talking about this is the most densely populated area
Yeah.
in Canada. Not much of this country is arable, so of course, we the fact that we still have areas like Northumberland County Forest and
Ganaraska.
Ganaraska, and there's autonomy forest agreement and those areas like that. We can still go there and
Yeah.
do our thing, and that's considering that. How many people live down here, right? In the banana belt, they call it, right?
And we don't see crazy
They
amount.
named
of
that after me.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
man.
we don't see crazy amount of hunters in the woods. Like there's guys there.
No,
No, it's not like I don't think it's like public hunting in Michigan or Minnesota or Wisconsin where they have thousands and thousands of guys. But we have traffic in the woods.
Mhm.
We have some issues surrounding public land hunting. Like there's not like the lady who sucked her dog on that 8-pointer on me doesn't make me happy at all. And you know what?
That's
We were talking
outrageous.
the other day.
yeah,
And Amy and we had a good discussion about this. It didn't upset me the night that it happened. It upset me the next day when you and I got there and she was screaming at the top of the trail. And then I was fuming mad because I realized this that letting the dog go wasn't like an accident. 'Cause
You're like legitimately concerned about
I was
that dog.
like it was
Yeah.
pounding down the snow. I looked and I don't know if we talked about this. I don't think we talked about it on the last one. It was after that. I was sitting in my tree. I've seen the buck that ran by. I'd seen him before. I'd seen him while Iron Mike was there. Iron Mike must chased him off. He was there 3 nights. He's good right side he's an 8 or 9 pointer. Good right side, and the left side's a little weak. So he's quite obvious, right? If he's looking at you this way, he looks like a giant deer, and if he's looking at this way, he looks like he's not so hot, right? Like he's quite obvious. So I'm sitting in my tree stand, and I noticed over the last few weeks that 20 minutes before shooting hours ended, a couple would walk by, and they would talk really loud.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably
I've heard them from my stand.
They're probably 200 yards away from my stand on not on a big trail, on like on one of those sub-off trails for walking.
Yeah.
But I would hear them talk, and they would show up the same night. No big deal, because those deer are totally used to them. They're probably standing 10 yards off the trail.
Do they live in the area? Like, are they?
They live across the street,
Right
so they
across
would
the
have
street.
seen me park my truck.
Yeah.
So the night in question, I turned, I looked at my bait pile. I was looking at my bait pile. I turned right and looked right behind my stand, saw nothing. I looked back at the bait pile, and I heard like that quite obvious sound of a deer running. And then all of a sudden I turned and I seen him coming, and then right behind him, and then that's when the barking started. A lab running like right on the heels of this deer. And it was snowing really hard out. I yelled at the dog, right? I blew my spot, and I yelled at the dog to stop, right? Because I was in a tree, but I thought if he heard a human's voice, like it would just scare him enough for a second. So didn't work. He took off after, and this deer totally knew where he was going, because he ran right to the bait site, hung a left, and through the path. Like he knew he had an exit.
You know that
Worst,
place.
man. Oh my
So
God.
I jumped out of my stand, worried that it was snowing hard. The tracks are going to get covered up, and this dog's going to run this. The deer's going to run the dog miles, right? He's going to take him to the other side of this forest.
He's
That
gonna
deer's
burn
not
that
coming
guy.
back,
Right?
Yeah.
So I jumped out and I yelled at the people, "Hey, your dog's down here," and they said, "No, don't worry about it." And then by the time I had traveled to the path, they were long gone. The next night, you and I go hunting.
Yeah.
We get out of the truck, we sit in the tree stand, and they're at the top of the hill screaming for this dog. And I thought
You think the dog's
they'd lost the dog, right?
Yeah, it's exhausted somewhere.
So I thought
Chasing
they
the
were
deer.
looking for the dog. Again, I went to the top of the hill, and I yelled at them, and they didn't answer, and I didn't see them. Right? They heard me for sure. So I told you I was done. I'm going home. There's no point wasting the night. I get to my truck, I back out, and I see them coming down the trail
With the dog.
with the dog from the night before. And do you ever get that sense where you're trying to have a conversation with somebody and they do not want to talk to you at all, like walking away, like the but like walking, like, did you find your dog? Is that the dog
100%.
from last night? Yeah. And then that's the moment I realized that deer was probably coming in. If he'd have been a mile out and the dog had been on it, I'd heard the dog forever barking. Like the dog caught up to the deer and started barking 30 yards behind my stand. Like he just caught up to him enough. And the deer didn't look, neither the deer or the dog looked like they've been running that long, right? Like we were on a sprint. No, we weren't like pacing here. We were like dead sprint. So then I came to the realization that they probably saw that big buck cross the road, know my truck's there because it's 20 minutes before shooting hours ends again, and let the dog off the leash, knowing that dog will run so far and come back.
If that's the case, that's just nasty.
No.
That's
Here's the thing: do they know that you're bow hunting?
I don't think they care.
But how dangerous is that to let your dog chase a deer that might just be getting shot at? That's
Well, I don't
That's-
think that's the concern.
that's
at
what I'd
all.
be thinking.
I would think that
Well, I'm not
They
sending my
must have
dog
thought-
out after a deer. You keep reading stuff in the
Oh.
news
Well-
like, oh, if someone
They're
shot
not
my
within
dog.
the right either way. It's
No,
just
no,
kinda-
yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what? The weird thing about these like people who protest, they're probably more concerned about the deer than the dog. They probably have the assumption that nobody would shoot the dog.
You know,
I wouldn't shoot the dog,
I hear about those accidents
but
all the time.
I don't even think they're
Or
sometimes accidents.
Yeah, quote unquote, right?
I can think of a ton of guys
Yeah, it happens.
who this happened to during shotgun season that have shot that dog. I'm not saying that's right, but man, I know a ton of guys who have shot that dog. I
Yeah,
know a ton
man.
of guys who I told the story to and said, "What do you mean you didn't shoot that dog?" Right? You know, and it's not the dog's fault at all, but man, like
It's not a good
you
look
can't
either.
do that, right? Like we
yeah.
got to share the trails.
Isn't
There's
it
got to be.
illegal for them to meddle with you though?
Yeah, it is. But
is,
you'd have
yeah.
a hard time proving that they weren't just walking down the trail and the dog, ran
yeah.
away. There's also laws, if you go to any of the signs on the public area that we hunt, that says you got to have your dog on a leash.
Yeah, it's
It says right there, no off leash, and it's not only
pretty
for
codified.
hunters, it's for that other walkers don't walk
And
into a dog.
they're well aware there's hunting going on in there.
It's been on the
obviously.
radio
Yeah, yeah.
20 times a day warning people to stay out of there, that there's hunting going on and to
Yeah.
wear orange and
and they have half the forest.
yeah,
as well,
if you
right?
go
The
across
whole-
the road, there's 20,000 acres there of you
No
can't
hunting.
hunt.
Yeah.
And they live on that side of the road. Like I found out after asking around, they live down the road. So they've seen my truck pull up, park,
Yeah.
get my camo on, and then they're getting their snowsuits on. The interesting part is yesterday I checked the trail cams, and we've had fresh snow since this incident. There's no tracks of people walking, right?
It's only when you're checking.
So when you're
So
there,
we'll see real interesting the next time I decide to go hunting in there if they show up, because that means they're really like watching
Dude,
the
you
truck.
think they just like in their home like plotting?
Well, they must-
against
I
Yeah,
don't-
yeah.
From
like,
what
oh,
I
he's there,
understand-
where
there
is
he
that
Yeah.
hunter? Where is that guy?
So the gentleman whose house I park at, he came out and he was like, you don't have to park on the side of the highway. I live across the street. You're more than welcome to use my driveway, right? And he's like, don't worry about it. And he comes out and talks all the time. And I explained this to him, and he's like, oh, they live right there. They're probably watching you turn into the
Burning
dead
down
end.
the house.
So that sucks,
I
right?
wonder what
Hey.
their philosophy is on the matter, like what their deal is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I
From
think
the city.
they don't understand. Like,
you
I don't
man,
know.
It's
They
really
understand what they're
frustrating,
doing.
right?
It's like messing with other people's business, right?
Yeah, man.
Like I don't know why people are so into what other people do. Do you know
That's
what I
the
mean?
society we live in, buddy. It's
It
an
is.
error.
And, and we're gonna get
People
into
are
that
bored.
too.
Yeah.
People are bored. They don't care. They
They don't
don't
give
see
a shit, yeah.
the long-term effects of. Right, we can't have every deer live.
Yeah, no.
Right, like that giant deer got hit right where you park your truck. We got
Yep.
that phone call that he got smoked. Right, we hear all the time
Yeah.
about imagine if nobody hunted.
That's what our conversation was.
Right?
the
If
other
nobody
day.
hunted and there was just deer all over the place and people were hitting them with cars,
Mhm.
and we don't have little deer here, right? We're not talking like
Yeah, yeah.
they're going
Southern
through the
state. We're
windshield,
talking.
yeah.
Like, you potentially could hit a 280-pound buck,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I think they weighed in one in
Sure
at
they could.
East Hill was
Yeah.
280 pounds field dressed.
Wow.
Like that picture on the
Yeah, yeah.
Rack Stacker video today. That deer's got way over 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I heard someone hit a deer. And
Yeah.
I was like miles away.
I seen a deer on the way home.
And
Big
man,
doe.
bang.
Scary.
Like
Big
it,
one.
it was such a loud bang, like where I was, and I was like miles away.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, "What was that?" And
I almost
it was
hit
a guy
two
out
this
on
year.
one of the county roads.
Boat on.
Yeah, hit it. You could
Yeah.
hear it.
Oh yeah, It sounded
Wow.
like well, there was that highway. It was actually Highway 28.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was that's what happened, and it sounded like it would have been like a head-on collision. Like
Wow.
the bang
Crazy.
was
Wow.
insane.
Well,
Yeah.
we saw. So I almost hit one coming home from on Newtonville Road, coming home from East Hill, that I missed by inches. Like the ass end of this doe, she calm and I.
Sounds like when you're bear hunting.
Yeah. I turned and she stopped. Like, and I was moving, and she come out of nowhere and she got on the road, and I'm telling you, the rear end of that thing must touch my truck. Like it was like scary. And then I almost hit on your mic with my truck.
Yeah.
While I was talking to you
Yeah.
on the phone.
Yep.
And then we were driving home from somewhere, and there was two deer standing on the road out on 28 in the middle of the night. So, and then that other time
We almost hit one this year coming out on 45, coming home with the boat on, and I had to slow down good.
Yeah.
Like it was, he came up to the side of the road, and then he kind of stopped.
Had luck,
and
eh?
just like and,
Smart bugger.
Yeah.
There's lots of deer out here, man.
Yeah.
And that's the part that amazes me is just like kind of the lack of education around like Ian, like the people you're talking about that may or may not have been like trying to interfere with your hunt. I mean, if only they knew, right? If only they knew that 90 years ago, there was like the white-tailed deer was almost an endangered
Yeah.
species.
Yeah,
The
we
only
watched an episode the
Yeah.
other day about Canada geese. We're almost extinct.
Yeah,
And
man.
they had to reintroduce the greater Canadian
Yeah.
geese, and that's the one you'll see at like parks and waterfronts. That they were almost extinct in Canada.
Yeah, like the
And
north.
now they're like overrun. But
Oh, now you gotta everywhere you go, you're
everywhere.
crossing.
Yeah.
You
That's-
got traffic jam.
That's from
you're letting all the
years of
geese
effort
cross.
and
Yeah.
money
Yeah,
being
yeah.
poured into this. And I mean, I think as like North Americans, like kids should be educated on this stuff in school. The North American model of wildlife conservation.
Whoa,
Right?
segue.
Oh, yeah.
There we
Segue.
go.
Yeah, look at these big words now. Eh?
Yeah.
Segue. So that is like, but there's not a whole lot of like you really have to search the interwebs and YouTube to find out information like this. It's not being taught to the general public.
Which kind of it's surprising, right? It
Yeah.
really is. Like it's such a big part of our heritage here, and
It
you know
is.
what we've done for such a long time, right?
Like, don't hurt the animals, guys. Don't hurt the animals.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I'm just gonna build.
yeah. Then they'll go to Costco and buy,
Yeah.
thing of meat that's like.
and build a big old McMansion on some like plot of land
And
that
just
used to
get freezer
harbor
marshmallows.
animals.
Yeah. Just cut those trees down.
You don't
we'll build
kill
our
that
home
animal,
there.
but I'm gonna build this concrete.
Did you hear that Ted
on this.
Nugent thing the other day?
Oh yes, I did.
That was
yeah.
awesome.
That
Yeah.
guy's nuts.
Yeah.
man.
On
He's
Rogan.
awesome. Yeah.
What? I can't
Yeah, with
remember.
Rogan.
I saw it, but I can't remember what you're referring
He
to.
was just saying all these people that are vegans and stuff and don't
Oh, yeah.
don't kill the animals, don't kill. They have no idea. Like when those bean fields and stuff, they kill everything.
Everything.
yeah.
Those
Yeah.
combines mow
Everything.
everything. down.
Everything.
Yeah.
There's no
Every
like
chipmunk, every
And look at the
vole,
fertilizer
every
stuff now,
mouse.
right?
fertilizer.
It's
Well,
Well,
what it's doing to the water?
Yeah, well, they don't run over; they poison, right?
Yeah. And that's it. Like, well, there's
so
that
they can have
lady's dog.
tofu.
Yeah.
There's a lady's dog there. It was died in Whippy from going in Lake Ontario from the algae.
no
Yes.
way.
That's because the algae is being caused from fertilizers in the soil, and then there
Wow.
was however many instances that dogs were killed in like the GTA from going in the water, and there's just a type of algae now in the water that they're trying to figure out because there's so much stuff in the soil that
Yeah.
apparently it would take, even if we stopped using the fertilizers and stuff like that, it would still take decades.
And that's a real problem.
try to-
Like, that's
Yeah, yeah.
something, It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people are worried bugging Ian about it chasing a deer around Northumberland County Forest, right? And in reality, that's an achievement that we can do that. at
Yeah,
all. It's-
absolutely. And I think about all the deer I'm going to feed this winter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you
And
know
all
what
the
I mean? I'm not-
chipmunks and the blue jays and the raccoons and the fisher.
Like, so in the last week, I've had a major upswing, not in the buck action, but the doe action. So we're feeding at least 7 does.
that you will never, ever, ever shoot.
Never shoot.
Yeah.
They have no interest in shooting. I'm total tickled pink when they come in to just watch them.
Just like
Right?
you were tickled pink.
Yeah, it's a good one. Eh?
Oh my
I'm
god.
excited to.
I bet you did nurse her back. Hey, did you have your little outfit on?
It's, been a couple instances this month where the doe tag starts twitching in my pocket.
Oh,
so
you got a doe tag?
I pulled
I've never
one,
even
yeah.
had one.
So
Yeah.
I got 7 does, and I have 2 other does that one has a fawn and the other one has twins. I have no interest in and I have 3 spike yearling
Yeah.
bucks that I won't shoot in
No,
a
no.
million years. I'm just as happy, and like I want a big, at least a 3.5-year-old deer. Like I'm not going to shoot anything under. I'm not going. I have no problem eating tag soup, but I feel like we people don't understand that. But I also feel that there's a lot of pressure on the hunting side to fill tags
I think
on social media,
Yeah.
right? Like, why didn't you fill a tag?
goals are great. Like,
Well, everybody wants to fill their
yeah.
tag. That's why you buy one.
and everyone
No,
wants a big buck.
absolutely.
Everybody
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
to shoot a big buck. Like
Yeah.
the conversation around like trophy hunting, I think, and meat hunting, and like it's all the same thing, right?
I'm
Like,
a meat hunter.
I'm a meat hunter. You can't eat the antlers.
Yeah,
Right? That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
everybody says. Like my first and foremost goal is, I enjoy the sort of cat and mouse and the game of trying to lock down a big buck.
Yeah.
But that's secondary.
more meat.
Yeah, more meat, man.
More meat.
But if I'm gonna be honest, that's kind of secondary to just getting out. And if it's the last day of the season, man, I'm taking that dough. I'm taking that spike because I want.
Oh, yeah,
I'm a chef
and
too.
I
I
would
would put
do
meat
that.
in the freezer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would never want to dissuade any new hunter or kid
No.
or try and shame them out of.
Absolutely.
Never downgrade your harvest.
No, yeah, and you know
Yeah,
what? There's got to be understand. It's not like for me. if I saw a giant deer on the, so let's say I see a 6-pointer on the first week of October. I shoot that deer, and I'm going to sit on my couch and miss the whole hunting season.
Man.
Yeah.
It's over. There's no 2 tags, right? Best case scenario, Mark lets me go on the nights he goes, and I sit there and, we party hunt, right? And I'm not going to shoot a deer on Mark's tag, right?
Damn skippity ain't.
Right? so that's best case scenario. Now, the exciting, like, as much as I would like a deer to eat, we're not hard up enough yet that this is like, I have to shoot a deer.
I really
Like,
want to.
I am
take
at
a deer.
this point.
I
It's
really
2
want
weeks
to take
to
a
closer,
deer.
man. I'm
I'm not
for
there yet.
sure.
Where like tomorrow, if I went hunting and that spike showed up, we're not even close to.
It would be different if I didn't have a newborn.
Yeah,
for
for sure. Right? If it was, everybody's in different circumstances. I really like the chess game of all this. I really like there's not many things that I get as upset about as deer hunting. Like, I
Man,
leave
it
that
is,
tree stand, kicking my gas pedal, calling people on the phone for I can yell at them because I'm so frustrated.
It's all consuming.
But
man.
but like, that's the, like, if it wasn't like that for me, it wouldn't be that big. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be that big of a deal. So I don't everybody shoots a deer. It's a great deer, and it's a great achievement to shoot a deer with a gun or a bow. I kind of feel like there's got to be winners and losers. If I'm going to win, I got to learn to lose, right? Because it'll be the greatest.
I think you learned that pretty good so far.
But the greatest day when that big 10-pointer comes
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Don't kick him while he's
Right?
down.
When that big 10, if let's say I shot Iron Mike on the 28th or 29th or the 30th, I didn't do anything wrong this year. I just got unlucky in somebody. If I'd have shot that big 4.5-year-old deer.
crowning. Yeah.
So you're trying to tell me if, like, say a nice bodied, like, 6-pointer came in, you wouldn't take it down?
2.5-year-old deer?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
That's our future of hunting, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically like.
Then you run into Mark later, and Mark's like, "Hey, look what I got."
Yeah. Oh, I would take it down,
And
man.
it is what it is, right?
I'd
And
you'll
take
be
it
like,
down. I want to eat deer,
I
man.
think we need to
don't-
find the middle ground, though.
It's not like we have. It's not like it's Kansas. I'm not seeing 70 deer a sit,
It's not Kansas,
right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not seeing deer all the time.
But I think that's such a
There's
problem. too.
there was, like, right now there was one mature Iron Mike, and then there was that other one. So there's 2 mature deer in that area.
Yeah.
I got bait
One
all
now.
over the place, and now there's one potentially somewhere in Newfoundland after that dog chased it. Right? So in my mind, not shooting one of those spikes, not shooting one of those does, not shooting that 2.5-year-old, because next year he's going to be bigger.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to have bigger rack. He's going to be smarter. Right? If, I shoot a spike and you shoot a spike and you shoot a doe,
And that's 3 deer that, and
we're
possibly 3.
There
2 more
goes your
deer
chess
that-
game.
That's
Like,
right,
we could
yeah.
get
Oh, I'm not going to
possibly-
shoot no spiker.
Do you know what I mean? But if you
Yeah.
shoot, if we shot the 2.5-year-old this year, there's nothing for next year, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Right? If we let him live, he grows a little bit bigger, and next year we get 3 months to play chess again, right?
I
On
think
the
to an
other
extent that we need to leave it up to
now
you guys
let's
call
say,
it it's not DNR here. It's
the MNR.
MNR. Yeah.
Oh, we're
I
gonna
mean,
get in.
Yeah, I don't want to go down that road either.
So
but,
here's another, like, if I was on private land and we had 3 giant deer and we had 2 2.5-year-olds and a 3.5-year-old, and there was a 7-year-old kicking around and 20 little ones, I'd have no problem shooting any of them. And if it came down to the last day of the season and there was 10 spikes, I'd take one of them.
I agree with you.
I just
man.
think that in where we're hunting, there's got to be some personal management to this, or we're going to run out of deer.
I think at the end of the day, that's probably the people sitting at this table that are personally managing their hunts in the Northumberland County forest.
And that's the
by
same.
choice.
No, like, Like, and that whole it's brown, it's down doesn't work, right?
I mean, does it or doesn't it though? Because there's still deer in Northumberland County forest. There has been
sure.
for hundreds and hundreds of years, probably.
Right,
I
but
mean,
if you think about, like,
thousands
last year, how many more big bucks we saw constantly?
I think that they're always going to be there. It's just
They're
going to come
there.
down to who's going to work hardest for them.
Absolutely.
These guys running trails on ATVs, chucking,
Man.
silver bullets over their shoulders. Like, they're not getting those deer.
I came out of the woods this year from hiking
Yeah.
and spotting during the gun hunt because I figured, this is the time to walk around and have a go at her. Hiding behind trees because the Dodge Ram with a spotlight, 20 minutes, and I
No
have my
way,
bow
man.
in my case in my backpack, hiding behind trees, scared shitless.
Those guys scare me too.
You know what I
They do,
mean?
yeah, it's-
And I constantly see them I was
know.
on where you went hunting today when I was I got up last week and I went for a giant
Yeah.
hike, and there's truck trails. Like you're not even allowed to drive a truck in there
Wow.
this
Yeah,
time of
people
year.
don't care, man. Yeah, it's
Like
it's insane.
And then I hear gunshots at 9:30 in the morning and
Yeah.
shake my head and like
And
this.
that's all I can do
and,
too,
you
is
know,
shake my head.
and realistically, this is why that lady's pissed off.
Yeah, could
Like,
very
She's
well
not.
be.
She's
Yeah.
not mad at me.
No, 100%.
Because if I'm
man.
sure
Like,
if I-
She's mad at hunters.
there
Yeah,
is
that's
some-
right.
Yeah.
And like that's the big problem.
Yo,
Is
Brian, I
that-
thought you were going for plates.
Yeah, for every
The big problem here is that
1 out of 10 hunters is making a real bad look. right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
but to that lady, there's not like bow hunters and gun hunters and truck hunters. Like you can like
No.
like,
There's hunters.
There's hunters.
There's
Yeah.
hunters.
And
yeah.
it works the same in the fishing community. Like when Port Hope talks about the salmon problem, they just say fishermen.
Yeah.
They're
Fishermen,
not,
yeah.
they're not breaking this down to like unethical fishermen. It's just me, you, that guy in the river with his rubber boots and a spear, or a fishing net. Do you know? Or a treble hook. Like we're
Yeah.
grouped together.
And it's such a rabbit hole, right? Like, we could just
It's
go
a
down
10%
that
of the
all
earth
night,
is an
man.
asshole problem.
Yep.
No matter who you are or what country you are.
100%.
What
man.
group, what
It- it-
activity,
nothing. It's
whatever.
just 10%.
Is it
of
only
us.
10?
That's not 10.
Is it 10?
That's not that high.
You don't think
That was
so?
not that high. Oh, no.
You don't think out of 41 million Canadians that 4.1 million Canadians are assholes?
There is some bona fide assholes
Yeah.
out there walking the
really
crust
is.
right now.
But you know,
man. It's-
That's true. We got more than half an asshole in this very room. Think
So
about it.
you know
Alright.
that's
Mathematically.
like no.
How come everyone looked over here for a minute?
I was like, who's the Is it me?
the
If you don't know who it is, it's probably you.
that so I'm sure that if I went like if I could stop her and her husband and have a
tough
conversation and
man,
be
yeah.
like, listen, those does with the fawns and the triplets, we're going to eat well because I'm going to feel so bad about this that I already purchased hay
Yeah.
that on the last day of the season I'll leave bait there. I'm not going to leave them high and
And
dry.
honestly, though, that's additional, man. You've
Yeah.
gone out, you've bought your tag,
yeah,
you've paid the price. That money's going right back into the system, or it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Right. And anything additional on top of that, I don't think just buying your tag is enough these days. To be honest, like that doesn't make you a conservationist per
No.
se.
No, not at all.
You need to go the extra mile, I think, and try and get involved with a lot of these groups and stuff that are starting to form, and maybe
Let's hear some groups.
uh,
Where can people go?
you know,
You know?
coming to Ontario, like I joined the OFA. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's worth. You guys probably
It's a
would.
start. It's our voice,
Yeah,
basically.
it gets me into the Otonabee Forest to hunt.
Yeah.
I know
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I paid
Yeah,
my-
that's like the ultra right.
yeah.
Right? Like that
Uh,
as far as right. Like if you had vegans over here, the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters are on the far side, right?
Yes.
And I'm not.
They're long in the
I,
tooth,
I,
man.
I honestly wouldn't say
yeah.
that I'm on the far right of hunting or fishing. Like I'm not a hard. Like there's some things in the hunting and fishing world that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
There's things in the hunting and fishing world that happen
Me too, man.
that I could more side myself with a vegan
Yeah.
than the hard.
And
Like
I don't know. Everything in the
I
vegan
was
world,
talking-
I'm probably against.
no. Like
as a cook,
like-
man, me too. Me 100%. Like
here's
I
the
can't
here's the
stand that
difference.
shit. But-
I'm not a huge fan of running dogs for animals. I wouldn't go
No.
out west and tree a cougar and shoot him with a rifle. But on the same hand, it's none of my
we
goddamn
haven't
business
done- yeah.
to tell somebody they can't.
You go down to Alabama or Georgia
That's
or something.
right.
Those
It
guys are
is
running
not-
dogs. They've been doing that for such a
That's
long
right.
time. That's what they do.
It is not something that I would like to
Yeah.
participate with.
Me
I would
neither,
not
but-
like to see a black bear in a tree after it's run 10 miles,
Yeah.
scared shitless
Yeah.
for its life, and pull my gun out, shoot it, and then stand on its back and take a picture of her.
Yeah, man.
That's just not for me.
No.
And something
But
that yeah.
it's none of my damn business to tell that guy who's been doing it with his grandfather and his grandfather
100%,
that
yeah.
he can't do it. Because if he decides to do this, that's totally, it's none of my business.
It's all subjective.
That's
It's
right,
highly
totally,
subjective, right?
There's, So, that's the difference from the vegan side is that they can't keep their damn mouth shut.
No.
Right?
We can talk
Like
morals
that-
and ethics all day. and
That's
that's great.
right. Like
but-
Yeah.
I totally can justify with your side of this.
yeah.
But you can't protest this
No.
because I'm not protesting
And listen,
you.
I'll sit there. I'll listen to vegans. I'll understand where you're coming from. I get it. Like it, you want to. I'm not going to go down
Here's
the
an
whole vegan
interesting
foxhole,
fact.
but
Well, we're going to go a little down here. We had this conversation, and we actually talked to my mom the other day. When the first time I ever heard, and I think I called you and asked you about this too. The first time I ever heard the word vegetarian was
Yeah, we talked
when
about
I was
this.
16.
Yeah.
And I never heard the word vegan until I was
Not
probably
that long ago,
no,
really.
It was not that long ago, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in my 20s sometime. So I called Mark, and you couldn't remember a vegetarian from your childhood.
No, I couldn't because they would have been laughed out of town.
I called my mom, and she couldn't remember anybody being a vegetarian. Some people didn't like pork, or some people didn't like beef.
and that's everything these days. Like there's so
That's
many people
right.
that are something that didn't exist.
Gluten.
Before. Yeah, gluten.
I hear this. I hear gluten so bad in
Gluten.
California. You can rob a bank with a bagel.
That's my life, man. I cook for a living. Every
Yeah, yeah.
second shit that comes in is no gluten.
Got
right?
gluten in
No.
it.
So, but like, do you want
Everybody hit the floor.
are we getting like, if so, what changed people's minds to get on like, Zdeno Chara's a vegan? Saw that on.
I think I heard that the other night on the game. Yeah,
during
yeah,
the
yeah.
game, and I thought
Personally, I think it's like.
And he was wearing a turkey apron, serving meat.
he's sponsored by McDonald's. That's the interesting thing. So Zdeno Chara, I watched.
I love vegans that eat at McDonald's because
Right,
every red
he
cent,
did,
man, they put
and
into
so when I heard
McDonald's
this,
is
the
just-
first thing I thought about was Zdeno Chara. There's YouTube videos of him giving away Big Macs, right? So it's okay to take the money from McDonald's, but it's not all right to eat the burger,
yeah.
right?
Well, just because he's a vegan, like that could that be for other reasons? That's not might not.
Could be a health,
totally.
It doesn't have to be an
but-
ethical reason. That's for sure.
right?
That's
Do you
true,
understand?
yeah.
It could be a health thing or whatever. But when we were, Amy, and when you and I were talking, we saw
a bunch of money to
protesters.
Yeah,
just throw
man.
some McDonald's burgers at people and yeah.
But totally, but like
Especially if you don't really,
Yeah.
you're not in it for the, maybe you don't. It's
Right.
not an animal
blend them up,
ethics
put them in the
issue or
baby's
something,
bottle,
yeah.
whatever, you know.
the
How much
lady-
money are we talking here? I don't know.
The lady who came out the other day with the dog had a Canada Goose jacket on, and I'm almost
Yeah.
positive that's
Man.
a coyote around
There's
her
a
neck.
coyote. That's what
So
they
it's
use,
not
yeah.
all
And
right.
like 20 geese stuff.
yeah, right. So it's
it
not
coyote
all
fur?
right for me to hunt the deer.
Yeah.
It's
they-
coyote.
that
It's
was-
100%
At all.
coyote.
Pure yote fur, man.
But it's totally fine for her to nuke
Yeah.
a coyote and put it on her neck and
Yeah.
then yell at me for it.
But I don't think those people get much cred either, right? Like they're not really. They're out there, yelling and screaming and whatnot, but like they're not. They're grabbing the ears of a certain demographic. and
Absolutely.
I don't know that that's what the impact of that is, but I would say overall, man, like as a country, as the part of the world we live in, we have the vast majority of support from your average person. I'd say 75% of people don't really care about hunting or fishing one way or the other.
totally.
It's our job to keep their support, though.
That's right. What was that on?
I was talking.
I would.
It's
that
been
was,
everywhere, man. It's
that-
kind of like just a big topic
that was
of conversation
maybe that was
right
on.
now. I was talking to you about it the other day, though, because I kind of brought up when you go to, like a Bass Pro or
Yeah,
Cabela's,
yeah.
you walk in, man, and it kind of irks me because I don't care personally as a hunter. But when you see some of these like broadheads, man, they're just like Slayer and there's like blood.
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
all
Like-
over. It's like that's not doing anything for our cause, man.
And it's not. But I did hear on a podcast the other day them talking the same thing, and about how we have public support, and it's ours to lose.
It's ours to lose.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
But and I totally agree with the broadhead thing. Putting. You can't, as much as I don't want their side rubbed in my face, we can't rub our side in their
No.
face. Do you know what I mean? Like posting a picture of a deer is fine, in my opinion. Posting a picture with a deer covered
Tongue,
in blood
man,
with
it's
tongue
just,
hanging
yeah.
out. I saw a picture from a guide site the other day on Facebook where bad shot on a deer, giant buck,
Yeah.
right? So it's a guy, and so it took 2 days to find the buck, right? They posted a picture of the guy, and the deer was dead. They just couldn't
Yeah,
find
I
him.
know, but
They
2
post
days,
a
that
picture
sucks.
of the deer on the line for the outfitter. Guy holding a deer, the nose chewed off by birds, and the eyes plucked out.
Oh, no way, eh?
Like,
Dude,
That's
yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
terrible.
Like,
you got to think
why-
you're not flipping your wallet out to your buddy like 40
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago,
yeah.
man. You're putting this on the internet eternally. It's like,
So that's just fuel for the fire,
yeah,
right?
Some
Yeah, yeah.
kids or
Do you know
vegan
what-
is gonna stumble into that noseless,
and be like,
chewed
what?
up.
The,
Yeah,
and so
man.
it has no
It's like-
face, no eyes, and this guy holding this buck smiling.
Yeah.
And not that you shouldn't be
It's not a
happy
good
about the
look.
buck, right? And it was winter. I'm sure the
Sure.
meat's probably fine. But like,
Use
there's
your
some
brain.
pictures we gotta kind of skip,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
you just skip that one, showing pictures of a broadhead with blood on the package,
Yeah.
spraying up the side.
Yeah.
Like it sends the wrong message of why we're in here, right?
Yeah, I
Like,
saw a post the other day, man. I was on Instagram. I think it was like one of the big like sportsman channel dudes, like the Jury Brothers or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, like they're cool, like they're doing their thing, but like the caption, and I don't want to say it was the Jury Brothers for sure. It might not have been, but the caption was, "When it rains, it pours," and there's just like blood like spilling
jeez.
everywhere from the broadhead.
Yeah,
man. It
yeah.
was like, dude,
But see, so in the hunting world,
bone
like I can
collector,
totally
it might
see.
have been, yeah.
I can totally see if you're a hunter, how you're like,
Sure.
that's perfect, right? Like
We can
that
talk
can-
about that all day.
Do you know what I mean?
We're like,
So
cool.
as I'm thinking of it, I was like, that's a good broadhead.
Yeah.
The blooded deer out fast, so that animal didn't suffer,
Yeah.
and they were harvesting.
And you know, I don't mean any disrespect.
no,
right?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I can totally visualize, but I can totally see how Amy reading
Yeah.
that post, who's not a hunter, who's like, what do you mean?
What are
it
you guys doing out
pours
there?
instead of
Yeah.
red? Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's
Versus-
terrible.
okay.
so that, but and it's like instinctual. Just reading that and seeing the blood on the deer, would you think that they were being a little malicious?
You forget that I grew up on a farm.
Yeah, no,
So,
totally.
But I know a lot of people that would be like, look at this, like this is not okay, like this is like mistreatment of an animal, and why
Yeah,
are
yeah.
they hunting it? And blah, blah, blah. I totally could see how that would be misconstrued.
Les Stroud.
It's more so about like, let's do the smart, sensible thing and
Do you guys-
look out for our interests here.
Amy, you
right?
don't need
It's
that
like,
kind of
yeah.
people in
Do you
your
know
life.
who Les Stroud is? Les
Thanks, Mark.
Stroud, the coyote hunter from the States.
Yeah.
I saw. Oh, I'm
Oh.
tickling too. I saw a video he made live on Facebook. They shoot this coyote.
Mm-hmm.
They wound the poor thing, right? And he gets on Facebook Live, and he's like
Oh no.
looking to make a statement, right? Like he's upset.
This is a few years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Finds
this.
this coyote, and they find it in like a brush line crawling away. Right? He gets the camera out, tells his buddy to hold the camera, and he gets shotgun out and blasts this thing and looks at the camera and goes, "What do you think of me now?"
Wow.
And then hits done.
Wow.
But that's just
That's
making people
disgusting.
angry, right?
Pissing
Do you know what I
people
mean? Like,
off,
it's just
man,
like-
yeah.
It's
Like as much as I don't like coyotes, I still don't want to see an animal suffer. Like I didn't even want
No.
to see that stupid mouse we found in the house suffer like 2 weeks ago. Like I just about bawled my
I got no
eyes out.
problem with coyotes on the
Like,
landscape, man. They're a natural part of the,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
environment,
yeah.
like whatever.
But you have no problem watching me suffer looking at that cake
Yeah.
all night.
Okay. This is what we'll do. We'll have a 3-minute
Get Mark
break.
some cake.
Cake.
Mark can have a
Cake
slice
break.
of cake, and all you folks at home can get another bevy. And we'll see you back here in 3.
Cake break.
Cake break. Cake break.
Sunday, minus 22 out right now. I just got up. I got a coffee, truck packed full of ice fishing gear. Mark Hunter should be here in any minute at my house, and we're on our way to the Bay of Quinte, and hopefully we're throwing down some walleye today. First vlog of the season, we got off to a horrible start and didn't get any walleye, so hopefully today is the day. More guys are going to meet us down there, so let's go meet Mark. And let's get this day on the road. It's still dark. It's hard to film in the dark. Let's do this. I'm excited. Hopefully we can just catch 10-pound walleye today and we just call it an ice fishing season. Got him. Ran home. Loaded Mark's stuff up. What's going on, man?
So excited. First time of the year, right?
For you, the first go, just
Yeah.
back from Florida.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a shock to me. It's minus 22.
It's freezing out. We're headed to the bay. 10-pound walleye. If we could just knock a
You know what?
10-pounder
That's
out.
my goal. I've been trying for, well, my whole life. Never got a double digit.
I've got double digits in like trolling and picking.
That doesn't count. That's old man
I've never
fishing.
got one through the ice.
I'm not old enough to troll.
I want a 10-pound walleye this year, and I've never caught a splake. I'd really like to get a splake.
We think we can arrange that.
For sure. So we are on the road. It's dark. It's hard to film. We're coffeed and teed up. Mark drinks tea.
Classy.
And we're on our way. Hopefully by the time we get there, there's a little peak in the sun we can film. Woo. Made it to the bay. Mark's getting his minnow bucket. It's cold, eh, buddy?
Oh man, -30.
-30 it says in my truck right now.
I can't open this.
Because the door's locked, bro. We're going in, grabbing some minnows. And then we're going to fish all day. I believe McCall and Scotty Walden are coming out later. The crew. So we're getting minnows, and then we're going to hike her out in the ice. Man, it's cold. Okay, Mark, your high rolling bucket. Let's see it.
That's a new bucket. I call it the minnow condo.
Wow.
Look at this. Put stuff in there.
Oh, wow.
Put minnows in there.
Wow. That's bass boat money right there.
All right. So green or the
Got minnows, freezing. I'm going to layer up. I'm going to put everything that I possibly brought on. We're going to hit the ice. Mark's getting the inside information here. See that? He's just anything. Any little bit of info we're going to take. Mark, is she excited?
Oh yeah.
Pumped up?
I just learned 16 feet is the magic number.
16. Okay, we're just about to hit the ice. We're going to have huge battery issues today, so I'm going to wrap this camera in hand warmers with my coat in a box to hopefully keep them warm. So we're hitting the ice. We're about 50 feet away from where we're going to park, and we're going to do this. It's freezing out here. Freeze. Not bad at all. Wonderful. That part's still moving slow. Oh, I think I was giant perch. Good one. Oh, man. That's my biggest fish in here. That's my biggest fish in here. Decent one. Gonna back down the hole. Yeah, right. Not bad when you can lip them. Number 2, Mark Hunter is hooked up with a good fishing fish. Oh, you got it? Mark here. Here we go, bro. Beauty. Awesome fish, man. Taking them? Eater? He's an eater. Perch, I think. Yep. Woo. Good perch, too. I can't get no walleye, but I'm into the perch pretty good. See ya, bud. Right, we're off the water. Didn't get any more hits, and we're marking fish. You got a Walter, man?
I got one, yeah, small one, two-ish.
We talked to Sean McCall and Miles. They think they got a better spot for this evening, so we're gonna go race to meet up with them.
Yeah, we're gonna go where we should have been yesterday.
Yeah, that's what we heard. They got a ton of fish there yesterday. We're here in the beautiful town of Belleville. Marky Mark, what's up, bro? Are you pumped?
Oh yeah, 10-pounder.
Mr. Sean McCall is just on his way in to grab us. I think he's got his wheeler with him. We'll see you on the ice. It's windy out, miserable. It's better be worth it. Big switch here. Hopefully we get on the fish. All right, we made it. McCall, what's up, brother?
Not much, buddy. How are
Happy
you?
New Year.
Happy New Year, Merry
First
Christmas.
vlog you've been in, 2018?
Yes, yes.
Are you pumped?
Super pumped.
We're gonna get some fish. You're gonna drill us a hole?
Yeah, we had some guys here yesterday. They got 4 guys. They got 37 between all of them. So
There's
hopefully they're still here.
hopefully we just need one big one each.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah.
Okay, bro. just got dragged off the ice by Miles and Sean. Tough day. My Quinny experience is I should have been here yesterday. I marked a couple out there, had some chases. Mark, did you get any?
I got one.
You got one today? I got some perch. You got to turn off your headlamp. Should have been here yesterday.
Yeah, man. My life story when it's ice fishing.
Yeah, tell me about it. I would much rather have a hard ice fishing season than a hard bass season.
Yes.
So maybe we're shaping up to have an awesome bass year.
You wanna?
Yeah, always.
South Carolina?
Home time. Yeah, I want to go to the Classic.
We are back, and we have cake.
Oh yeah, we had cake.
Birthday cake. Are you
Yeah.
done already?
Just about.
Mark had
Wait,
the
that was
biggest
huge.
I had like a
Bro.
quarter cake.
Bro, I'm gonna. This is from Frosted Flowers.
Frosted Flower.
Mess.
Frosted
Delicious.
Flower Co. in Port
I'm
Hope.
gonna give it a
Frosted.
try.
It's very good.
It's delicious.
It's good.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good cake.
Great crunch on the sprinkles.
Amber, you said we had some comments in the first half of the show that I didn't get to. I just talked and talked and talked.
Somebody said about what we were talking about, the dog chasing the deer.
Yep.
He said, sad part is a dog will put a run on a deer and potentially cause it to run into traffic, or if snow is deep, injure their legs. Extreme cases, kill it from stress.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Amy's brother chimed in and said he read this morning that in Ontario, hunter harassment can possibly carry a $25,000 fine and possibly a year in jail.
Nice.
Wow.
Nobody will get jail time ever. Ever.
I don't know
We
if you can
have
trust
the-
that source though. I
We
don't know.
have the weakest fine in like anywhere. You could poach some fish down the river right now, and you'd probably be walking away with year suspension, $400, $1,000 at the most. What do you think the fine would be if you got caught poaching a deer? You wouldn't lose your hunting license forever. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Stephen Hussey wants me to ask you if you're coming out to Simcoe for ice fishing for big Lakers and whitefish.
Well, you listen. We used to go to Simcoe. And,
We did some perch last year.
we did perch.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. Oh, maybe we can get to Simcoe. The only thing I don't like about Simcoe is
Where
how
have
busy
all the
it
big
is.
perch gone?
That's a question and a half, and we'd need a special guest on because I have no idea where they. I know they're out there, but that's a good question. When I used to go there with a kid with my dad, there was gigantic perch.
Oh, there still is.
They're
man.
they're
Oh,
there,
God, there's still
but
big
there's
ones.
a billion little ones. Like I don't ever remember catching a trillion little ones.
You know, we should try to hook up with that Shane Pilgrim. You know,
Yes.
remember Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets on the perch pretty
Yeah, he
good.
does. We should maybe do a trip
Yeah.
like that. Maybe we could even have Shane on to. He works at the Ganaraska.
He does, yeah. Yeah, super nice
forest.
guy.
He's a big hunter. He's a big fisherman. He might be a guy that we should have on sometime to sit down and chat about this stuff.
Both him and his girl, Lori, they're pretty hardcore.
They got some good pictures. I've
Yeah.
seen them online.
Hey.
We'll have to ask Shane.
I got a question for
Whoa.
Sam here. Actually, while he's here, if I'm not trying to hijack you for too long or
No,
nothing.
go right ahead.
But I was just thinking, you're a chef.
Yeah. man. Yeah.
Amy just had someone bring her some moose meat.
Is it in a jar?
Never cooked it before. It's
Anything out east,
You
man.
gotta ask,
Pickled
eh?
moose.
it is of the ground variety.
Yeah.
What's the best option?
I mean, any wild game, right? Like when you're getting into moose and deer or elk or whatever, like it's lean meat. Like
Yep.
it's really lean. I have a kind of a hang up when people are just like, we need to cut bacon and everything. We need to wrap this in bacon, and just kind of, to me, that kind of takes away from what I'm really getting out there
What
and
are you
getting
getting?
at it
Yeah.
anyway, right?
What are like chili or something then?
Yeah. So what are we doing? Are we doing like burgers? Are we doing meatloaf?
I don't know.
Like
What's meatloaf? been
I'm a
good,
big
actually?
fan. When I was at college, one of the guys who I became
Sausage.
friends with,
Yeah.
they hit a moose in Atikokan, Ontario, which is like on the Manitoba border.
Yeah.
And we basically made that whole moose into sloppy joes.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
yeah.
We would have community because we were at college and we had no money.
I mean,
We
you
were
do what you
really
want.
living off the land.
Like my preference, if I were to shoot
Sloppy
a
Joe
moose
them.
tomorrow, would be I'd probably take that thing and butcher it up, right? And
but did they have hamburger? What would they do?
Yeah.
So
Well,
we're
they
doing
got
ham-
ground. They got
hamburger.
ground.
We're
That's what
doing
we got,
ground.
yeah.
They
Ground.
got moose
ground.
burger.
Moose burger. So you could do a meatloaf. You could do burgers. If you're gonna do
I haven't
burgers,
had a meatloaf in a long time.
I would recommend
Wrapping it in bacon.
wrapping it in bacon. Just like frying it in pork fat. And
Yeah.
But most likely I would probably form my patties, get them like 8-9 ounces, so they're nice and thick because that meat's lean. It's gonna dry out real fast. ripping hot pan. If you want something nice and simple, like just as far as cooking the patty itself goes, just get that thing in a really hot pan. Give it some color on the outside. Try and retain some of that moisture on the inside. Any animal that doesn't eat meat, like you don't have a worry. There's not going to be any foodborne
What
illness
does Ranella
concern.
have?
Yeah, it's gonna be,
What did
yeah.
Ranella get from the black bears?
Trick. You got trick, right?
Trichinosis.
So you can get the worms, man, from stuff like bears or
Right.
and I don't know about like
Cougars.
tigers necessarily, but yeah.
Yeah.
You could make tartare from moose meat, right?
Right,
That's
yeah.
no great concern as long as the cut's right.
Yeah.
But as far as just what you want to do with that ground meat, man, yeah, just high heat. Don't dry it out. Cook it really fast. Try and keep a little bit of color in the center.
Some rare
and, you know,
burgers.
I'm not going to tell you not to cut in some fat too, right? If you want to maybe another thing.
I got a question for
Or
you.
a
Are you
seal oil
like
or
a
something.
salted cracker onion guy in a patty kind of dude?
Man, no.
Ooh.
I'm just like bare bones, man. Like if I'm making like
You're a meat guy.
if I'm making a meatball, I'll do what they call a panade. That's where you maybe soak some milk, some bread rather in milk. Add that. That's gonna help it retain moisture. And like those lean cuts of meat, they don't shrink up very much. So if you're
Yep.
making a meatball out of moose meat, you can do something like that, and it's gonna like hold its form
I've
really
tried
well
that
too.
with the
yeah.
milk.
Yeah, man. So take it could be anything really. Like you could do some bread, anything that's gonna add moisture to that.
That's
Yeah.
a good tip.
But
Never thought about that.
yeah, it'll just kind of stop it from drying out and shrinking up. But make your meatballs. You could do a meatloaf, but high heat.
I think meatballs
High
and-
heat's the key. With
Meatballs and meatloaf might be what we're.
Meatballs.
So would
looking
you
at
like
that.
sear them
I
up
think you
and
should
I
then
have
like
brought
making
those
meatballs.
tonight.
would you get them on the hot pan, sear them up, and then throw them in the oven, or would you finish it all on the
we
pan?
talking meatballs?
Are the burgers, the patties,
I'd assume
whatever,
oven for the meatballs.
whatever.
If you're going straight moose meat, give those things a quick sear on either side and serve it mid-rare. If you want to add some bacon fat in, cut some some pork fat or something like that. Like I'm just joking. Like that's not really a faux pas. That'll help it a lot probably. In all reality, I don't like that personally. But
Yeah,
if you do,
Bacon.
you're gonna,
Is your ground already got
and especially if
added
you're
fat?
Nope.
Nope.
No?
you're gonna grind that in.
Straight from the
And
blender.
especially if you're trying to introduce maybe someone new to game meat and you want to make it a little bit more familiar, that's really going to help you to.
I've never had moose meat before.
It's good. It's delicious.
You know what?
Never had
amazing.
I prefer deer meat.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I really, really
I
like
love
moose
moose meat, but
We
something.
used to do roasts too. And if we weren't Sloppy Joe and I'm talking,
Yeah.
we would do like a pot like this, a Sloppy Joe's, and 20 of us would go over there, cases of beer.
Sloppy Joe sounds kind of
Sloppy Joe's. And you know what we got really big on? This spicy ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
Sloppy Joe, spicy ketchup,
Jesus.
put her down the
Oh
hatch.
man, and sometimes the simple stuff is the best, right? Like,
Yeah.
last
I
time
was
I
almost thinking like a spaghetti sauce or like a spaghetti sauce or like
yeah,
Sloppy
you
Joe.
do
Sloppy Joe.
You do a
Chili.
bolognese, right? Like that's
Ooh.
just a basic meat sauce. You could
Yeah.
cook that down, just maybe some shallot or onion, a little bit of garlic.
Yeah.
Cook it till it's nice and brown, and then you're gonna add your
So we're gonna
spice.
start a segment
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we are. We should have you on to do
Take this to the kitchen.
some
Yeah.
cooking vlogs.
Yes.
I'd love to,
yeah.
man.
That's,
Some segments. We could set that up.
Come
for
more prepared
season,
next time, yeah.
Season
We'll,
4 of the vlog.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
And,
we got to go
uh,
to the grocery store to get the
Yeah.
and to top it off. Actually,
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. Those spike horns are looking pretty,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
tasty.
We could do some
right
fish
about
too.
now.
Maybe we could do a couple fish fries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big fish fry guy?
Honestly, man, and I'm kind of ashamed to say it, coming from the East Coast, I've done a lot of fishing. Mostly, just like pike and little browns and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But I've never really thrown myself into it. I've always.
Well, that's good because we're going to throw you into it now.
Okay, let's do it.
Now,
I love
we haven't talked about fishing very much, and we're not going to talk about fishing here. We're going to keep going. Listen, and this is a topic that we were started upstairs, but we didn't get to it because we want to save it for the show. You and I have been watching a new vlog,
Yes.
and what is that vlog called?
Talas Buon.
And it is basically, I found it
is
the other day.
Talas Buon Fabod.
Wow.
Oh.
And it's roughly translated, it means Pine Ridge
You made notes?
Homestead. I did.
So here's the
Googled
premise.
it.
The other day, I have like this vision in my head, growing up on like a cattle farm, right? A very rustic cattle farm, right? That probably hadn't changed when I was there than when my great grandfather owned it. How we did things other than machinery growing, This vlog is basically a couple from Sweden who don't speak very good English.
Da.
I knew that was coming. So, and those are your people.
Ja.
You're like, how much Viking?
Long live. Ja.
They started a vlog series, and basically in translation to English from their terms, they bought a ranch. But so in Sweden, like when we think of a ranch, we think of like 200 acres of fields. In Sweden, they would have like a home ranch for the wintertime in town for their cattle and their sheep and their chickens. And then in the spring, they would move to another ranch that consisted of like a log cabin, another small log cabin for their help, a barn for their animals, and then a cellar.
A creamery.
Cellar. And then when that area got grazed off, because these animals are basically grazing on an open meadow and in the woods, they would move to their fall. And do you remember the word for this? For what it was called?
Farfignugan.
It was something like that. So they bought one of these.
Fabode.
A fabode.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So they bought one of these.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Woo.
They bought one of these, and
Sound like the guy, the strippers.
Sundays.
this is not really happening, is it?
I'm tripping out, man.
So this young couple bought this. They don't have a lot of money. He's rebuilding the buildings, the outbuildings. They've been living there. They have been raising sheep, 2 pigs, rabbits,
Chickens.
and they're basically trying to live off the land. If we were talking about this in Ontario terms, they live about an hour north of Thunder Bay.
So they're out there.
But they're like,
Yeah.
there's no help.
Just off the mountain.
Yes, and they have some family around to help them out. But basically, they're living off the land and making a go of this. They got no TV. They must have
Power.
I don't know if they have power or not.
Oh, they're running
don't.
cameras, so they must have something.
No, but I feel like they're going into town to upload these videos. There is a
And-
small town close to them.
They
But-
have a solar.
Solar,
Yeah.
yes.
So what is their kind of like? What's their angle? Like, what are they trying to?
They just want to live. And they
They want
decided
to show you kind of how. you
yeah,
can-
I think they were just sharing their experience. And
What are they, like 26 vlogs in, and it's been since 2017?
Yeah,
March-
they don't make
March
they don't make a ton
2017.
of vlogs, but they have been getting a little bit of
Right.
money from Patreon that's helping. Like they really, I don't feel that they're in this to make money. They're just looking to
Yeah.
live life.
Power to them.
Right? They're really into
I'd live that way
they're
if I
buying
could.
books, and
Yeah.
they have an outdoor kitchen.
They make
right?
pickles. They're trying everything
the,
for the first time. On
And then
camera.
that's basically they're just showing their growing pains. But the interesting part, and what we were talking about upstairs, is instead of going to college and stuff, they're going to do internships at like a creamery. She went and did like to make
or
cheese
other fabodes.
or other fabodes,
Fabodes.
and they're looking to make. She would like to be sell cheese as they make
Yeah.
on their farm.
Respect, man. That's
Artisan.
craft,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That's,
And
you
then
know,
he went and did did a couple different ones. She did one on
Internships at-
internships on like tanning stuff.
Yeah.
He did an internship on butchering meat, like the rams, and they were showing they nuked their rabbits, all the baby rabbits.
And their sheep.
The rams. They nuked them. They got 2 pigs that they're still going to nuke. There's a deep sense inside of me
You
who
should
would.
probably stop using the word nuke.
Well, I like that word, but again,
that's powerful.
yeah, life and death is real, honey.
But what a way to live, though, right?
It is, and
cool.
I feel like I have a deep sense in me that I would like to live like
Yeah.
that.
And
That'd
it's
be
a
cool.
privilege, though, to live like that these days.
Absolutely,
Really, right?
and
It is.
it's not
Like,
really like when I go. Like I was thinking about this, and then
Which is
I
insane.
start to miss stuff already, even though it like
Yeah, like
no
a roof. There's no way
they-
you're building something with a roof.
No, right? And that, like, I don't think I could give up the internet and the webcast. So there's got to be like a happy medium there.
Yeah, and I don't think you can get away from that stuff these days, especially
No.
if you want to be a voice and try and help things along, right? We need stuff like this because if you're just going to go hide in the woods, then that's
Absolutely.
great for you, but
So,
you're not
but
going to change
Amber and I-
anything or
well,
help
no-
anybody.
Nobody's gonna come visit you.
Amber
very
and
often.
I watched this, and I think the biggest thing we learned is how wasteful we are.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like these people aren't wasting any food at all. Like
in Canada, I think is like the one of the second most wasteful country in the world or something like.
I make myself sick, man, on garbage day when I'm taking my stuff out to the road. I mean,
The garbage can eats so well here.
Yeah.
all those baby diapers and like cat shit and stuff like that. It's just like so much, man. It's
Yeah.
You
gross.
can, you can say shit.
Yeah, you can swear during
Okay,
those.
all right.
The but so we were talking about how like we waste a lot and we don't meal plan, and these people are planning like
Yeah.
their whole winter meals
Oh yeah, of course.
in October when they're butchering animals up, and we don't do a very good job of that. And like realistically, we got pulled pork in the freezer. We got tacos that we didn't finish from the other night, right?
So much.
Last night we went
Yeah.
out for dinner at Boston Pizza,
Yeah.
so the tacos didn't get eaten. So, watching this video, they can't do that, right? There's no waste in this, right?
Yeah.
But I also feel that comes from you thinking that we eat like 3 pounds of meat for one meal, but we'd only need one, maybe
Totally.
half a pound.
You
Absolutely.
You overcook?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
always have leftovers?
Very much.
No, not all the time.
That's that's my household.
We-
Like,
we
my
are-
mom, man, just like
Yeah.
heaps, right?
But we have a
Mouths of food.
terrible time here because I have no problem eating leftovers,
I
but
love
Amber will be
leftovers.
on to the next meal the next day.
I don't have
I
Yeah.
love
Oh.
leftovers.
Wasteful.
I like leftovers.
I don't
I
have
love
leftovers.
I love
Really?
leftovers too.
I'm a
There's
big
nothing
fan.
wrong with leftovers.
I'm a big fan.
I
Like
love
I'm,
taking them to work.
I'll guarantee you after this webcast, I'm gonna crush 2 tacos.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
big fat ones.
I love leftovers. I'll eat the same
I
thing
do.
for 3 days.
Oh,
Get
4
into
days.
that.
There's a lot of food that actually tastes better that second.
Yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
100%, man. Yeah.
Stews?
Stews.
Stew? Oh.
Yeah.
Chili.
Hell yeah.
Soup, yeah, soup. That ham
Yeah.
soup,
Yeah.
ham potato
Oh,
cheese soup we
soup.
make.
Dude, even you let that like steak rest in your fridge
Yeah.
uncovered for a few days, like it's getting a little bit of dry age on it. Like that's gonna be better than the day you picked it up at the grocery store, right? Like
Now, the conversation that we got into was that if the
In high
world,
school.
like
What they teach us.
if the world, what they teach us,
Not just high school though, Amber. Like I mean,
all the
from-
way through.
Whole
No.
Like
education
it's
system.
our whole education system. As soon as the important things is like math and
Science.
and you got to learn this and you got to learn like all these things that are going to help you survive in life and really just so you can rely. I feel like on a system that's put in place. But if that system does ever like go down or anything like that, then so many of us we don't know how to find fresh water. We don't know how to purify water. We don't know how to grow food. Like all these little things where I think as soon as you're in grade 1, they should be teaching you things like what actually you need to survive,
Life
like actual
skills.
life skills.
that would be
Yeah.
these days,
Like-
man, that would be like the ultimate natural selection with the IQs
Yeah.
flying around.
Right.
out there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
imagine how hard it is to shoot a
population may
deer
dip a little bit.
with trail cameras, bait piles, tree stands. Imagine tomorrow something happened in the world, and we had
You have a little icing.
I was enjoying it.
I got my dozen arrows, I got my bow, I got my badass Under Armour camel. I'm gonna be warm, right? Like if my 2 kids were starving and Amber was starving,
we'd
what,
all be starving still.
dude,
yeah.
like what are the odds that you could track a deer down tomorrow?
Yeah, what if the grocery store closes, right?
Hey,
Like,
you
what
know-
if everything
yeah.
in the grocery
Yeah.
stores just starts going bad? Some sort of the food's caught, like what the romaine lettuce.
guys just like
It just
shooting
caught
each
on
other
to
over
everything.
cans of beans in the
Everything's
aisle.
right.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
like
Crazy,
real.
man.
And we were talking about. I was thinking the other day, and like this seems like craziness, but it's not that far stretch that the power
no.
could go out, or
Yeah.
that one of these guys
you
could
should
shoot
know
off
how
an-
to do some stuff.
right. And,
Yeah.
and here's what I
Yeah.
was thinking. I was driving to Coburg on the 401. And I thought it's when we got that alert on our cell phone.
Yeah, oh,
Did
yeah.
you get that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the test.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
Dude,
thought
secretly though, every time I'm at work and that alert rolls, and I'm like, please just be like nuclear bomb. I'm out of here.
But so I got the alert, and I thought, what if
Yeah.
this wasn't a joke? And right now I had to go get the kids, and Amber was at work, right?
Yeah.
How much? What would we bring out of this house to leave? Because the first thing you're going to want to do living in Port Hope is head north. Because
get
when
out.
those 4 million people in Toronto start heading down that 401, this is where they're coming. Because
Yeah.
this is like,
Right by Cameco, though?
Yeah.
But I was
Right
gonna
by-
say
No. But like this is North Bay for anybody who lives on Yonge Street.
Yeah.
Pickering is like the end of the world. So our north, as growing up in small town, isn't the same north as some gentleman or lady who grew up in
Yeah.
an apartment building in
Right.
Toronto that has the population of Port Hope in that apartment building,
Yeah.
right? So I was thinking, like, what would you grab? How much food do we really have here? How much fresh water do we really have?
I think it'd be
here?
more about like tools, right? Like,
tools. I would
Everything.
grab the bows,
What can you use to capitalize?
the fishing
on-
rods,
yeah.
right? We take the bass boat just 'cause,
Chainsaw.
You gotta
I'm going
float.
down with the bass boat.
Number one tool probably is your chainsaw.
Chainsaw, yeah.
You got no chainsaw.
I have no chainsaw.
And the economy would
We
probably
don't even
be-
have a saw.
Everybody should have a chainsaw.
the economy would probably be like based on like batteries and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, so
Gas.
that's
But-
your money.
but-
like
Gas, yeah.
So, like my mom baled hay when she was 13-year-old little girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom, like she could live. Like there'd be no killing her. She would have the life skills, and she'd nuke those dogs to eat. Like there'd be
Yeah.
there'd be no grandbabies starving on her watch, right? There'd be meat pie and sloppy
Oh, yeah.
joes made.
Yeah.
I think that I would do okay.
She'd hit the moose.
She'd hit the moose, no
She'd
problem.
totally sacrifice the car.
She did. That woman could go out in the woods and tell a deer to sit down while she went over there and kicked
yeah,
it.
man.
Right?
I mean, we're talking deer too. We'd be eating like bugs and
Yeah.
millipede.
Right.
It's
So,
like-
I feel
Gross.
like from what I know of, about like growing up on the farm and hunting and fishing, like I could catch fish.
Yeah.
Right now, if it
Especially
came
if you go
down to
far
it,
enough
I could
north,
find
there's
some. I could
enough
find some
fish too, right?
I
Yeah,
could
we
find
could
some
all
fish
find
to catch.
fish.
without proper though like regulation and
hear
stuff,
me?
we would just
Can you hear me?
fish and hunt the
That's
hell
right.
out of everything.
You know what?
in a
There's not
week,
enough
right?
deer in North America to sustain this population
No.
for a month.
So thankfully, not everyone wants to hunt, right?
That's, yeah, totally.
We just
So,
need their support.
Good thing a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
are
The real
against it.
problem would
And we can
come,
eat them too if it comes
Well,
down to it.
exactly.
I was like-
like we were saying about the schooling thing. The real problem would come for Emma's generation, who's dependent on Xboxes, Apple phones.
Their mom and dad.
Well, even
Yeah.
even
You know
us,
what,
we
and-
are all dependent on still like a system that we were put in the position we are for a reason. Like
Yes.
we feed the
Yeah,
machine. Right? We all
100%.
Oh,
like, and
one-
that's the thing. If the grocery store closes, and I thought of this probably like a good 15 years ago. I was just sitting there one time, and I just thought, you know what, like. If the grocery store closes, like it was so important to me, and I thought that was the correct way to go. Like I'm supposed to go and get good grades so I can go to college and get a
Yeah.
job
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do whatever it is I am to do to fit into the
survival.
Be a
economy,
cog, right?
fit into the
Yeah, yeah.
economy. And then the limit of my survival skills is
Yeah.
hoping that the damn grocery store is open.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
because-
you're relying on this
Yeah,
system.
yeah,
we
yeah,
built
yeah.
to keep you
Yeah.
alive.
So
right?
I gotta
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta learn math
Yeah.
so I can go get a job that makes me enough money that I can go and buy
Yeah.
food from the grocery store. But if the grocery store just closes, then I'm gonna start getting grumpy.
SOL.
A hungry
Yeah,
man
yeah,
is an
yeah,
angry
yeah,
man,
I
right?
am 39
This is a
years
fragile
old.
system we've built.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
what I'm
what
saying,
yeah.
I'm 39 years old and I still have not used algebra.
And I'm
No,
yeah,
no,
and I'm
that's
still
true.
thinking, and I'm still thinking
Geometry, a
I use
protractor.
geometry. I use it.
So bad.
and I still
man.
think,
Man.
what
Sure
if
I do,
I
yeah.
need
Yeah, I
fresh
guess.
water?
Yeah.
Like, what if I need? Like, how many years of education and I don't know how to get fresh water or purify water? And I don't know.
It's in the tap,
It's-
Brian.
Dude, the
Hey, bruh.
population would like instantly
It's-
drop by like 20 million. I swear.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
God.
yeah. No, no,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
doubt. And even in my old age, like I find myself.
My old age.
Well, I do because I
Yeah.
feel my opinions are changing, to the point where I notice. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when I listen to really shitty rap music.
music.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It ain't what
I'm
it
like,
used to be. I
what-
tell you
this
that.
is like
Music nowadays.
There's no like heart and soul to this,
No,
right?
yeah.
Like there's nothing. There's no like anything deeper than There's a
Wu-Tang.
song about a girl eating somebody's like Cardi D song I watch on TMZ.
Dude, I love
while
that.
they're eating
I don't
her
know
ass.
what comedian it was, but
Eating her
it was
butt.
like,
Yeah.
it was like, we can't play you, baby. It's cold outside, but here's
Yeah,
Cardi
yeah.
B, eat my ass.
Yeah. So when I was in my 20s, so when my grandfather thought, and my grandfather was like an old schooler, we always made fresh bread, even though it was in a bread maker, right? He never paid for bread, refused to pay for bread. And he thought that every day at lunch before he went worked at our farm, that he valued, I guess it was from growing up really poor on the farm, that fresh cheese was a really big thing. Like there was value in being able to afford fresh cheese for
Like,
your sandwich.
Make your own cheese, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Or even like buying like
Okay,
not
yeah.
sliced cheese. You know what I mean? Like opening a wrapper to put your
Like
cheese
a
on was
wheel
like
of cheese.
that was like he would cut
Like, if
cheese,
your
but he
car
was
breaks
really
down on the way
proud.
home. You
Cut
drive
cheese.
home on that
So
cheese.
when I was all through my, when I turned 22, I got a bread machine, and I never ever bought bread in the rest of my 20s. Every day,
You made bread every day?
I would have sandwiches
when I
or.
met him,
Yeah.
he
Really?
made bread
Because
all
it,
the
like,
time.
It's easy to whip together, man. I was
But it's
doing
really
it,
important, right?
like,
For a million years, bread has been like the glue of our society, right?
Bread is life.
gluten
That's what
The
people
gluten.
say.
society.
Absolutely. Well, and even when I was single, and every night before I went to bed, I'd load the bread maker up, and then
Yeah, man.
the morning
Nice.
there would be fresh bread here.
Yeah.
100%. Pop the lid off, and
That
like
shit's good too. Like it's
for
smells so nice to
you know,
wake
and
up
maybe
with
I didn't make it every night, but there would always be fresh bread here. I never bought Wonder Bread. I never bought. And I was talking to you the other night that it's kind of like the more dependent you become on the metro, just the lazier you get, right?
And that's
Like
so
a-
true, man.
Do you know what I
Like,
mean?
yeah.
Like I think now after getting home from sitting in the tree stand, getting Ashton in the shower, yelling at Emma to do her homework, then yelling at Emma to turn the music down, I'm so tired that I don't know at 36 if I had the energy to make the bread, right, for the next day.
The way we live, man, it's sad almost, right? Like it's messed up how we like, we're going hunting and fishing and
Yeah.
we're doing this as like an extracurricular
You're like
at this
juggling.
point.
Yeah.
It's like people
But
used
we-
to do this
we
to
used
to live.
work.
Live,
Hunter
yeah.
gatherers. We're not hunting and gathering.
you
We're
know,
not
so-
walking
it's evident that we
20,000
have we
steps.
still have the desire though to at some capacity like live.
It's instinct.
It's
I think
instinct.
But the
it's
instinct's not
nature,
there
right?
for
some of
like
us.
for
Yeah.
and if you went to the high school today, I bet you'd be hard pressed to find 10 kids who
You know
hunt
what?
and fish.
You'd be hard pressed to find them, I think. And I wouldn't even go as far as to say that. I know a lot of kids that hunt and fish. I mean, I'm still fairly new to Ontario, so
Yeah.
up here not so much maybe, but I think overall, even if you couldn't find those 10 kids, there's still 10 kids there that would do it.
Totally.
Sure.
But I have
Sure there
a
is.
feeling that if we went to the East High School in 1963 during the first
because
week
there wasn't anything else to do.
right, and totally, and
Yeah.
then and we're like we're not competing. Like life as an essential isn't being taught to
Yeah.
them, which means like they're real dependent on these iPads, and
Yeah.
I could really go without them if need be,
100%.
right? But
Without his iPad.
Yeah, I feel like in 1963, if we went to the high school during the first week of deer camp, there'd probably be like a big percentage of those
100%,
kids
man.
who are not
'Cause
at
there
school
wasn't-
that
there
way,
wasn't,
right?
There wasn't like an Xbox patch
yeah,
drop
yeah.
or
Do you know what I
something,
mean?
You know what I mean?
And
It's
like if we, I'm
still-
sure that if we went, like, there's probably not even the parents of my generation who are like, shit, kid, you're not going to school this week. It's deer hunting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're
There's
going to
still-
deer camp.
If you still go to out into a lot of reserves and stuff like that, there's that is a thing. Is where it's like you go into a school.
big
There's
thing,
certain
eh?
times where from a young age, a lot of the students just aren't going to be there because they're out helping and they're out like spending time with their family, learning
yeah.
crucial
That's awesome.
crucial skills
Yeah.
and supplying for the entire community.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
supplying for the elders that can't go out there and hunt.
You guys too, like
And-
it's in
Yeah.
Ontario, man. I find like in my short experience here, like it's back home, like hunting is like everyone's hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
Tons. Like you just do it, right? Even around Halifax and stuff, like it's kind of a cool city in that respect because like it's got all the amenities of a regular city, but as soon as you step outside of that boundary, man, you're surrounded by hunting and fishing and access and all that stuff. So it's still not a thing. Like everyone's me and my buddies,
But there's probably
we are outside of Toronto though, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's
right. And there's
major
probably an
urban
only
center,
like
man.
there's probably like it kind of feels like things happen in New York, things happen in L.A.
Yeah.
And then things happen in Houston, and things happen in
Yeah.
and then it moves to Toronto, and Vancouver, and Montreal, and then it's only a matter of time before it changes in smaller communities like Halifax and
It is,
St.
yeah.
John's, Newfoundland. It'll catch
Oh,
up.
it does. It'll
catch up.
Don't get
right?
me wrong, man. Like it's a university city. Like there's
Yeah.
tons of
Sometimes I think I would love to like get out and try to make maybe small bits at a time, make a go at trying to just live off the land and stuff like that.
You know what?
Bring a couple canned goods just in case.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
survive. And
That's
you know,
some
do my thing.
Beaners and beaners.
Now here's
But the
the
thing is, half the things getting going. I'm gonna need like Google or YouTube because I'm gonna have to see
Yeah.
like, how do you do this again?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
or how,
Yeah,
what's the
yeah.
best way to do this?
And you know-
One of our elders
So
taught
as much
us
as
stuff
we're-
too, we've lost it.
as much as we're dependent on the metro, we're kind of dependent on the YouTube.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
your answer
Yeah.
to
We don't have
what you need.
That's your quick
encyclopedias
answer.
anymore.
And, you
We
know,
don't have
there's
great
always
books.
figure it out.
We're
Or
bound
books.
to.
Like
Yeah.
if you could find a book, right?
I have a
Where-
cookbook.
where do you find
I have a
them?
Mennonite cookbook upstairs. It's called
Oh.
Food That Really Schmacks.
Oh
No
wow.
way.
And
Can't take
Ranella
that
dropped
to the
that new
woods.
cookbook too.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
Not, I haven't looked through the whole
There's
thing yet,
a
but
guy.
it seems pretty
So
dope.
here's another interesting part. Rogan right now is only eating meat that he hunts, but Rogan also on Google is worth $22 million.
That's
so
yeah.
if we won the Lotto Max on Friday, 60 million, I could get us all to eat off the land.
We could all
Just
afford to
because-
hunt. How
That's
funny
right.
is that?
Isn't that weird? right?
Exactly.
You
Like-
need to go get a really good job in the city to be able to afford land in the country nowadays.
No, but here's the other part, though, right? We could go to Newfoundland and $4,000 a piece. If let's just say I had 60 million for $4,000 a piece, we could all fly to Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Shoot a moose, right?
Dude, I'm like,
And then we could, then we could pay $1,200 a piece and go to Alberta and shoot a mule deer, right? And then we could go.
I see where you're going with
Then
that.
we could go from we could buy like a fifth wheel trailer, right, or a Winnebago, and go from state to state to state buying tags till we got out west, and then we could nuke a couple elk.
Nuke 'em.
So if you have money right now and time, you
can
can
do
live
it,
off
man.
the land no problem. You can
Yeah.
you can eat like we could go to Texas and get hogs.
Yeah.
Right,
Money
It's
buys
just
you time.
money buys you time, and money
It
buys
does.
you the availability to
Amenities.
get guides
Yeah.
to hunt these
I
remote
work
access.
60 hours a week for, I make,
Yeah.
under $20 an hour, right? So I'm not cashing out by
Yep.
any stretch, and that's why like these areas, man, so close to home, they're so important to me. If
Yeah.
I weren't able to hunt in Northumberland County Forest,
Where would
tomorrow,
you go?
Where would I go?
Yeah, you're not you're getting in a small plane and taking
I'm not-
off for
exactly.
It's-
I dream to do that. I'd love to go hunt elk in Montana or Wyoming or something one of
Yeah.
these days, of course, right?
And he's
But-
noticed a lot of these guys building houses and stuff like that too that are like have an easier time being self-sufficient.
Yeah.
They're, like,
Yeah, yeah,
spending
yeah.
Tons of
Yeah.
bucks on them,
Oh.
like state-of-the-art homes that like
Oh, yeah.
you know their temperature is like.
Well, you would know this. So how, like, being a window guy,
Uh-huh.
and McCall would probably know really well too. Like, is it cheaper to buy a furnace for that, like an oil or a gas furnace for the house, or would it be cheaper to buy a solar panel electric system in the long run?
I don't think they're at that position now to run
know
your
what I mean?
house with a solar panel.
No, well, I watched.
I bet we could do that though.
No,
if we,
I watched
like,
a guy who
applied
was
ourselves,
who
right?
was
I watched
what's the
alternate.
guy's name? The survivor by himself, lone survivor.
Could
was
be-
used-
Oh,
Oh.
Is it-
Bear
oh, yeah,
Bear
yeah.
Grylls
Is that
or
Bear-
No,
Yeah,
no,
Bear
not
Gr-
Bear Grylls, the Canadian one. Les.
Les Stroud.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I watched his episode, and he's living off the grid, right? And in the documentary, they moved to the cabin. I guess he does music and the TV shows. He didn't have time to build his cabin, so he paid somebody to build the cabin. Moved his family out there. They're like cross country skiing
Yeah.
to get to the road, to get to their vehicles, to go to
Step
hockey.
one: buy $2,000 cross country skis. Step
yeah,
two:
dude,
buy
dude,
$50,000
so-
acreage.
when he was so he got 3 electric solar panels and a wind turbine. Then he was showing the separate room he had in the house to store all the batteries. 24
But he's not
vo-
heating with that.
He's just running the appliances.
Yeah,
and
and
they're
there's
heating
lights.
off wood stove and propane. He's running the stove and the fridge off propane.
There
But
you
the
go.
question is, right? I noticed in the documentary he said, I don't have to pay hydro anymore. I have free hydro. And then I was thinking, listen here, I'll bet you cost you $20,000 for all the batteries
Yeah.
and the solar panel.
And they're gonna last
and-
forever.
And so it's not free hydro. You
Yeah.
just paid all up
front.
front.
Yeah.
You got to think why this stuff is like not necessarily tangible. Also, because you get the quintessential like mountain man image of some dude like just struggling it out in Alaska, right?
Yeah.
But this
There's
guy,
not a
man,
lot of that.
But when this guy was like realistically, like in his heyday, like he had a trade system, man. There was people
Yeah.
down the road living the same lifestyle. He'd like make it work with
Barter.
them. They'd barter.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have that now. That's not how we
No,
operate,
no.
right?
Yeah, that's
Like,
not how.
It's a pipe dream, and it's a privilege and a luxury.
I
if you
can't
can live
trade
like
you a
that.
couple fear fishing T-shirts for dinner at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Who you're going to trade, one T-shirt for, dinner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
You
mean?
want
It's
something to
not
start a
happening.
fire with, or like shoot
Yeah,
something
yeah,
with,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's
that's not happening right now.
yeah.
So, so what do you have any idea what a solar setup would cost for your house?
No idea. I know there's a lot of houses out there that have these solar panels on the roofs,
Yeah.
and those aren't really purchased by that homeowner. They're a company that
Yes.
pays them
Leasing.
Yes.
to put them there. I think you own it after 20 years or 25 years, but what they don't tell you is they're junk at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they've used their capacity,
I remember Steve Thompson, who I
so now
worked
you're
with.
left with their garbage.
He had a
Like
a
any
big
car
bungalow
Yeah.
that is really, really big. So he filled the one side with solar panels and 20,000 up front, right? I believe that was the cost of the solar panels. But he was producing so much power they were actually
Yeah.
giving him money.
Yeah,
hydro.
they
But
do
he-
get
but-
paid for it.
But
They
he
stopped
was
doing
telling
that now.
me yes, because too many people are doing it, right? The other thing he told me is that like after 5 years they go down to 70%, and then
Crazy.
after 10 years they go down to 55%, and they're not restoring the energy. So at some point he's got to rebuy the whole system.
My
Again.
understanding too is that like if you want to be self-sufficient, even we're talking like from a homesteading perspective, not necessarily off grid. Like if you want to power a certain percentage of your house with like solar panels, I'm pretty sure you have to put like power back onto the grid or
Yeah.
like pay a tax or something.
There's got to be something. And you know what? Like,
well, you could have a closed system, I guess. I knew a guy that's
would they let you do
out
that in
Tweed
town
way.
though?
Like he was like that was like
Yeah.
30 years ago, and he was totally
Yeah.
living off the grid.
I
Could
think
it-
unless you're completely off the grid,
Yeah.
like zero reliance on
Would
Viridian
they
or
let us
whatever.
do it in town?
Probably not.
Probably not. Like I have a feeling that if I decided tomorrow that we were going to turn my backyard into a full-on garden, like
Yeah.
cornfield, half of it, do you know what?
Yeah.
Somebody in this neighborhood shut me down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that
They're-
happened. Was it in Whippy, Oshawa? Someone had a garden on their front lawn, and the neighbors were complaining because it was a food garden, and I guess I don't know there was like bugs.
animals.
They had to thought the bugs and animals. Are
You can't
around.
even have a
And
hockey
they-
rink on your front lawn.
and they made
Yeah.
it like.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They complained
That's
about
not a world I
this-
want
Have
to
it.
live
No.
in.
You can
but-
have a big English garden on your front lawn,
Yeah.
which is just nothing you
Feeds.
can harvest. But
Gotcha.
apparently growing this food on her front lawn, she got shut down because of complaints because it was.
Was
It
there
doesn't-
animals there
you know what?
yet, or was
Well,
there just the threat of
They were
having
coming.
I think they had.
pests?
The polar bears.
I bet it's just poured hope because you grow a
Probably
carrot in the ground
birds.
here, man. You're gonna like get 20 types of cancer or some shit. It's like
Yeah,
So-
not a good plan, eh?
you don't want
No.
the.
Do we have any
So-
questions or comments?
Mike Howard has a ton of info.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Let's hear
Read
it,
that
Mikey.
out.
He sorry, hold on. He
Dead air.
asks if you're prepping for a zombie apocalypse.
I am. I think about it sometimes, and maybe not a
'Cause-
zombie apocalypse, but I think real legit.
Apocalypse?
I watch the news sometimes, right? Honest to God, I watch the news sometimes, and I watch
It's scary,
Trump
man.
and Putin talk like they're little kids with the two biggest armies in the world, right? And like, you can't like. I feel like
Scary shit.
I feel like the rest of us don't matter sometimes. Like that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we
And-
don't.
I don't
I
harbor the
think-
same hatred for a guy like Trump for the same reasons. as
I
a
don't-
lot
I
of
don't
people.
hate-
but
I-
it's still pretty freaky that this guy's like the leader of the free world.
you know,
man.
I don't
Like,
think
it's-
it's not just him. I think that it's anybody. If you take, like, let's say you take two. I think about it this. My friend Norbert, great
Got
guy.
a friend named Norbert.
I got a friend named Norbert. He's about 6'2",
Wow.
just
Sorry, Norbert.
jacked, tattooed,
Sorry, Norbert.
Polish
You
man.
sound like a great guy.
He's from Tataska's country.
Oh,
Born in
yeah?
Portland. And I think about, so I think about, and he's got a temper on him like you've never seen in your whole life, right? And I think about him flying a Russian plane and seeing an American, and I can totally see that guy being like, I just shoot him down. Really, you think anybody will care? Then knowing Norbert, getting back and landing and being like, you just started World War III, and him going, I didn't mean to. He was in my airspace. And I think that quite possibly is how close we are to just like
one pilot making a mistake.
Like
Grocery
do you know,
stores
like
closing.
having a bad day?
Yeah, we're on the wire
Like,
right
you know,
now.
or maybe we're thinking, you know, maybe some buddy in the United States or Air Force, his wife just left him. He's having a real bad day, and here's this, you know, running across, you know, and all he's got to do is hit a button, and shit is going to
man.
hit the fan.
But whether it's that way or whatever way you look at it, like it's just as possible that like an E. coli breakout gets spread much
Disease,
further
yeah, man.
through the
Listen, that
food.
power went out
And it
for
could
2
be,
days.
Could be because of water, could be because of storage facilities or whatever it is. And
Think about like the grocery stores, like you were saying. If the power went out in 2 days, we'd be out of food at the metro.
Well, the only reason this planet's got 7.5 billion people on it is because we can sustain that using the system we
have now.
If that falters, man, like that's not going to work. Right?
So I don't think of that.
have to be a
Like
scientist
I'm
to know
prepping
that.
for a doomsday thing. I think I'm just being like, if you look at humanity, we're probably due for a war,
yeah, probably.
right? Like
There always is one
I think
somewhere.
we might have like surpassed the traditional war though, and it's just going to become about like
yeah, like I don't think we're gonna draft people and send
But there's
them.
also human nature in like mine. It's just a piece of mind, or just to, like how long can you live your life going against completely against the grain of human nature?
Yeah.
like
Right.
human
Yeah.
nature is like. Well, it is what it is, and maybe some people don't have, or the younger people don't feel it yet. But I think eventually, even they're gonna feel it. Eventually, they're gonna feel like, okay, I've been doing this for 25 years, 30 years, even maybe
Lose
even
their
take.
shit.
They're eventually they're gonna be like, how come I don't mentally feel?
But you know what
right?
scares me the
That's
most?
exactly what's happening. The
And-
mental health issues
And it
right
really
now.
is, especially in our society, right?
Yeah.
Like in this Western society kind of thing that we got going, where this stuff is the most important and has the biggest issues. Because there's a lot of different, like in the European Union and different places, there's a lot of different
France, man,
outtakes
and
and
shit's going up.
Yeah,
red
yeah.
flames
England's
right now.
And you know what? We're the first generation who will make less money than our parents.
Yeah. We have
Right?
different values, though, right?
You know
we
what
don't
I
just
mean?
care about money, and that's great. But
There's
it's gonna-
there's not 40,000 jobs at GM,
no.
Nope.
right? Paying big money.
And was that ever a quality of life to begin with?
Yeah. Well, you
When
know
I was
what
a
mean?
kid and you got into
Well,
GM, you were set for life.
yeah, it was-
that
yeah,
was
like
the,
it was
that was
like
the
the
lottery,
attitude
right?
you had.
it was kind
yeah.
of easy.
I'd go crazy doing that shit.
No, I wouldn't be able
personally.
to do it either.
But
Yeah.
to them,
But-
it's
but
like,
listen,
you go to
it-
work, you
those-
work hard every day, you get whatever you want.
That's right. So you
it's
go
like-
there, you work 8
and
hours.
nothing was harming anybody. So it was like,
But those are the guys
The
who
awareness
own,
grew.
who own hunting camps,
I know, yeah.
right? Those guys
Spending
are
the money.
brand new Silverado. Not worrying about their 3 kids playing hockey.
And I
Like
don't
they
have-
were
yeah.
living like the golden years, right?
Yeah.
And
the world was
that's
bigger.
not there now.
No, the world was a bigger place, and,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more unknown. The ignorance is bliss, man.
Yeah.
It's like when you don't have like the knowledge and stuff that we have now, it's much.
Yeah.
Ignorance
Yeah.
is bliss. That's the best way
But
to put it.
that generation may also not have been the best stewards.
Yeah,
either,
no,
right?
absolutely.
Oh,
They
yeah.
weren't-
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they didn't take care of. They spent the money and pumped it back into the
Yeah.
system, but they didn't necessarily.
And it's not because they wanted to set things off that way.
No,
you know?
it's just ignorant.
It's
It was
because
easy.
I watched a news program the other day, and we're probably gonna start wrapping up here. We're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah, we got 10.
We in China is prepping right now for 2 and 3 day work weeks because they have so many people, and
Come on.
automated jobs are taking over so much that they think in the next 10 years that people will work 2 to 3 days a week, and they need to find out how to run their economy
Wow.
and get people money with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna
is
be
it-
like Terminator,
Crazy.
man. Like,
I was talking about
shit's-
this the other day though, and when they
getting
did
nuts.
testing on they did on numerous occasions for they tried to do like a 3-day work week, 4-day work week, and they were actually more productive. People would get paid the same.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And because you're not mailing it in for like 2 days of the week,
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
completely
yeah,
burnt
yeah.
on
Yeah,
work. You
for
go
sure.
in, you get your tasks
Yeah.
done, and you're more focused.
I've seen
And-
myself when I work less than 40 hours a week, and I'm a
You-
far more productive
you work
person,
better.
man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
work
yeah.
better, and
Absolutely.
I'm doing like my mind is going in other other avenues. Like
Yeah.
my time is spent trying to make maybe something a little bit better,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not just trying to pull a paycheck and like
Exactly,
Stretching
punching
it.
the clock.
grumbling around, punching. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like,
Amber, do you have anything?
Yeah.
We got 9 minutes.
Mike Howard said that the zombie apocalypse could happen with the new stem cell research, where they're
That's totally
bringing
true.
a
I've seen
dead
that's
body back
freaky
to
shit.
life.
If you watch, I listened to Rogan the other day about AI.
that's what I was just gonna say. The
That's
artificial
insane.
intelligence, that
That's-
shit is
that's-
crazy, man.
It's nuts
Creepy.
how the computers could take the world over.
Yeah.
And Ian Goulburn says they're starting a wilderness survival course.
I seen that. I
Mike's
seen that.
Ice
I've seen that too.
rescue course. Once Kushug freezes.
Nice.
Kushag,
While we're on the topic,
And Mike
sorry.
Howard, sorry.
You're gonna get a final thought.
Have you seen the toxic pools from making the
Don't
solar
worry.
panels?
You what? Sorry.
The toxic pools from making the
Oh
solar
yeah.
panels.
Think
Yeah.
of the industry we got to support to get solar panels.
If you
And the more
one
you
of those
spend,
big wind turbines, they say
Yeah.
that it takes so much fossil fuel to make the world turbine that its carbon footprint is there
Huge.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it screws up migratory passive birds and all
Yeah.
types of
They
different
just
things.
like hack goose heads
There's
off.
no- yeah.
Nothing. It's like-
And they're
it's like
ugly.
a goose.
They're like
blood dripping from that. But that is a meme.
they're nice
Yeah.
to see once, and then they're just an eyesore.
Yeah.
Right. Final thought, Mark.
Just want everybody to have a safe coming up to the holiday season. There, I'm not sure if we'll probably see you again.
We're gonna
before
try to
then.
work
We're
one
gonna
in-
try to do it.
It won't be on the 24th though.
You know, if you're in the position, you see that kettle there, put a couple dollars in it for the people
Oh, you're a
that
good
don't
man.
have any dollars.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
remember about those.
Yeah.
You know what? As tough as it is, it could always be worse.
Yep.
You know what? I'm going to use this as my final thought. I can remember being on our family farm and fixing fences for cattle, right? And being like 17 years old, pouring rain out, right? You know, pull the fence together, wire, cut her off, onto the next section, make sure it up. And I can remember complaining to my grandfather about how much this sucks. Like, this is just... And he looked at me and he said, at least some asshole's not trying to shoot us. Because his dad had
who
fought in
grew up.
World War One,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And when he was laying out the barbed wire to keep the fences up, there's some guy on the other side trying to shoot you.
Yeah, yeah.
So he used to, and in that moment, he looked at me and he's like, just remember, it can always be worse. He's like, imagine doing
100%,
this and
man,
some
yeah.
guy in a tree here
And we do.
firing
we still,
bullets at
trying
you,
to
while
pick you
just
up.
making
And-
your day that much worse,
And
right?
we still have it very good. And I think that's important,
That's
right?
right.
Like, man, people died for this, right? Like
That's
what
right.
we do. We get to go
Absolutely.
hunting and fishing.
Still dying.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
Let's take care
Final
of it.
thought.
Final thought. 2 weeks left in deer season. You
Yep.
know, I hope everybody gets at it and freezes their asses off for a couple more days and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tags out. And you know, I always like to come from the public land angle, just as a user and someone that values that. You know, that's that's my bread and butter, man. So
It's important that we have that there.
I think we need more of that up north. We take a lot for granted in
Yep.
Canada, right? They kind of in the States have this a little bit more unlocked. There's a little bit more awareness about this stuff, but I think we need to get on a lot of this stuff before it's too late.
It's
you know,
too late.
stream access and stuff too. You
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
keep fishing and doing your thing, and just get out there, use your crown land, and get in those county forests and whatnot. And you know, I'm a member of BHA. If I can give them a little bit of a shout out,
yeah.
I'd like to hopefully bring a chapter to Ontario in the near future if I can kind of jostle up some support for something like that, and then maybe get a good group of ladies and gentlemen on board with that, and
That'd be dope.
we'll take it from there, and hopefully we can I got a couple little guys myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I want them to be able
What's
to enjoy the
BHS?
stuff. It's Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. It's public lands advocacy group. That's their main angle, right?
Sweet.
So you guys check that out, backcountryhunters.org, and yeah.
Final thought, Amber?
I'm gonna plan food better.
Yes. We're going to do that. We talked about that. Amy, Brian, we didn't get into your domestic
Her relationship again?
because you guys
That's
haven't.
fine.
You guys
Okay.
still haven't
that's
had a
the
real
best
fight
part.
yet.
We'll
You guys,
pick
they
up
haven't
on
had
that
a
next.
fight yet.
No?
We don't fight though.
But listen,
Just
Christmas
likes
is
to
coming.
debate
The
all the
pressure
time.
is on. There's presents to buy. I'm sure in
Oh,
the
yeah.
new year
We
we're going to
went
have.
the reserve for the first time. His reserve for the first time today, and
Yeah, I mean, he's never been there.
Ooh.
it was actually pretty amazing. We got him some new moccasins.
So nice
for-
Nice.
moose
Yeah.
moccasins. And
Yep. And
Yeah,
I got my
some-
first pair of
some
moccasins
art.
too.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Very
Yeah?
good. So,
Beautiful art.
You guys got a tree up?
so my final
Yeah.
You got a Christmas
Finished
tree
it
up?
last night.
Real one?
bunch of lights.
Real one or
No,
fake one?
fake.
Yeah, yeah.
Bunch of my final thoughts
Save
is
the
thanks to
trees.
everybody for the birthday wishes and stuff.
Yay.
Yeah, that was
Thanks for
awesome.
coming on
And
your
thanks
birthday.
for the cake and thanks for the
Yeah,
moccasins.
thanks for the cake.
and all that. And I'm at the Griffin Pub on
Yeah.
on Sunday 1 to 5. So
Perfect.
in Whippy, anyone wants to come out and follow me at Brian Bracken Music on Instagram or something or Facebook.
Remember, folks, it could
Or
always be
something.
worse. Thank you.
Always viewers.
Thank you. Let's
night.
get out of here.